This week on the show, it's the age-old tale of a boomer getting brain-pilled by lies on the internet. It's Saw X. I'm Andrew Kramer.
Eric Soska X.
Chris Cabin.
And we hate movies. Welcome to We Hate Movies. Thank you for tuning into the program. As always, if you're new to the show and finding us because you're a big Saw fan, we're a comedy show where we take a movie and kind of just poke fun at it a little bit. And that's right. Saw X is up this week from last year, directed by Kevin Gruter. Or maybe Gruitert. I don't know.
Gruder.
We got the Gruter. We got the Gruter on the Saw this time. We got him manning the fucking blade.
The Gruter
Saw maestro, right? He was an editor and he directed some of the other films.
Oh, they're keeping it in the family, huh? Oh,
yeah, dude. I think. Well, this, you know what it is, Chris Cabin. It's like. It's the 10th movie in a franchise. You're not looking to outsource this shit. It's like, all right, who wants to do this one? Who drew the short straw?
Yeah. Who else is emotionally, invested in this already and is going to maybe do this for a little less than we would normally ask in the James Wan years?
Yeah, I should get out in front and say I don't hate this movie, and I do think it's the second best Saw movie of all time.
You know, I think I agree with you because it took them 10 movies to find like motive for the killings.
Yes,
I think if I was thinking normally, I would probably agree with that assessment because it is like probably the second best directed of the whole bunch. I kind of give the first one more credit than it deserves because it is the first one and because James Wan is there. What's his name? Lee Wynell gets going from that.
Yeah,
there's quite a lot there. I appreciate that it happened more than I actually like the movie, but I see its value. And then Jigsaw, I think, is genuinely well directed. This one is just under that, but I still hate it. And the reasoning is very simple for me. I just find this so cynical. Like, I find this more cynical than almost, and not just like what is, all Saws are cynical, but like the actual like curb into like, well, maybe we give John Kramer a little bit more credit than he already has.
Maybe he's not that bad of a guy. Okay.
Sure.
Well, and it's kind of funny, Chris. I mean, I totally hear you. And I had to, because I was thinking about your criticisms of this movie this morning when I was rewatching it. And by the way, when the sun is shining and it's 9 a.m.
Not
and
great.
You're watching Saw X, boy, I was doing some real reevaluating of my existence. But I was thinking about your criticisms of it. And I think what's kind of interesting is like, you're totally right. But also, yes, this is the first time we see this kind of action with John Kramer, but only because this is also the first time in 10 movies where they've put him in that kind of a position. So, like, I don't know, maybe he would have been doing this the whole time if these were movies where, like, he was present more and he was actually watching the traps be executed and this, that, and the other thing. Like, maybe we would have seen this lighter side of John Kramer.
Possible, but, like, it's not an alternate universe. This happens in between movies that already existed. And we know how this all ends. Like, it's like that. The idea here, and it's from a marketing standpoint, I get it completely, especially from a like we got to break out of the cycle kind of idea, and like while also keeping our star. I get why they did this, but like to me, it's so ridiculous to put so much fucking. You know what has dragged down all these movies is the constant like connecting of the other fucking movies
That's
and
true.
the backstories and all this. And this movie's like, hey, fuck that. Like, honestly, no, it's like, I know. Yes, it is. But it's been like the whole movie has just been chugging along and like belching dust for fucking years because it keeps doing it. And then it's like, well, finally, you know what? Finally. Yeah, we'll do it. And we're going to do it we're gonna set it right in the middle of the other movies, suggesting like literally to me, it suggests an alternate universe of the John Kramer universe,
Right.
Like, because this is just such like bullshit, like nice guy bullshit. I'm like, he wasn't a nice guy when we see the story, his backstory before he even became Saul.
Well,
He
Chris,
was kind of a piece of shit then.
No,
That's actually kind of true. Yeah,
but he was
Eric.
he was trying to make this is a health clinic. We're making a health clinic.
Sure.
So there, in those backstory of John Kramer, there is sort of a attempt at I guess helping people in some way.
But he keeps on telling his sainted wife, past wife, ex-wife, I guess now.
Jill Saw, please.
Jill Saw.
Right, Jill Saw, yeah.
Jill Saw. Like
She got door
he
pushed.
keeps whenever she's working there, he's like, you should think about maybe leaving that place. It's not exactly safe for you and the baby. Like he
Mhm.
immediately, even if he
Right.
put funding into it, he's immediately like, no, it's not dangerous because I saw a brown person walking in there. And like, I just don't get why you're like, other than just to save the franchise, I don't see why you do this kind of complete swerve.
Chris, it reinvigorates the franchise because you take Saw on the road. I
Sure.
would like more Saw travelogue movies, sort of like The Trip or The Trip
Yes.
to Greece.
Alexander
Saw.
Payne, Saw 11. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right, Amanda. We're going to go to Greece and we're going to sit down at all these nice restaurants and we're just kind of going to improv for a little bit. And eventually we're going to find one of the members of the serving team and we're going to put some traps on him. Here's my my Michael Caine impression. You weren't supposed to blow the bloody doors off. Was that good? Was that good? Did it sound like him?
Have you ever seen A Fish Called Wanda? Wonderful film. Can I get more squid here?
Hey, Jigsaw, this is Samantha from Letterboxd. What's your top 4?
Oh God.
Fish Called Wanda, definitely.
When Harry Met Sally, for sure.
Oh God, when she's like, I hate you, Harry, I hate you, boy, I just laugh and cry at the same time.
I know it's you're gonna laugh a little bit. The Iron Giant. I mean, it just gets me every time. Just a big old the eyes just well up, and I cannot. The connection to a machine, the way I feel that, I feel that in my heart. Connection to a jolly machine that rips a person's face off.
And then, of course, the Zapruder film, inspired me as a boy.
It's a short, I know, but I'm sneaking it in.
It's a toss-up between Zapruder film and Pinocchio. What with all the puppet shit going on in that
The
movie.
Roberto Benigni version, by the way,
Oh
not
my
the
God.
anime.
God almighty.
John Kramer would be great setting up that island for what is it, Misfit Boys or what was
Oh
that?
man, yes.
That Donkey Island?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
Donkey Island, dude. Yeah.
Oh, hey there, little boy. If you don't pass this test, you're turning into a donkey.
I made an entire metal whale that eats children.
I like this turn into a donkey. Like we get magical traps now,
Yeah.
like
Oh,
I've been
totally.
I've been studying the dark arts, of course, Amanda.
But then you do have to watch at least 30 minutes in the film of him drawing the schematics and like getting very detailed about it. Because you have to remember, he's not stupid. He's very smart.
he's always a genius.
Of course
even
he is.
even though he's done like the stupidest shit in the world into and including this film. Like
Yes.
I actually I meant to be waterboarded with blood. That was part of my plan.
I got
That's,
it.
That's how I get off
Yeah.
being blood-boarded.
Complete moron. And
Uh-huh.
no, but like he's a civil engineer, he's an architect, so he's very smart, everybody. It's not that he's stupid and falls for it constantly.
I
I got
mean,
a
this is, yeah, go ahead.
I got a question about the timeline. While we're setting up this new alternate universe, you're calling it,
Sure.
Chris. Saw 1 came out in 2004. Was that not set in 2004? Because under Goofs on IMDb,
Yes.
it says that this film is set in 2001.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I kind of always assumed that first Saw was 2004, but I think what you got to do here is we're pulling details probably from some of them later sequels where shit's really convoluted, and maybe
Okay.
somewhere in there they mentioned like, oh, back when Danny Glover found that dude in the bathroom in 2001 or whatever the fuck. Or
Right.
Danny Glover gets killed in that movie.
I
but
did look
whatever
up,
it is.
Apparently, they said that, like the Wikipedia said that Saw 1 was written in 2001, so maybe it was supposed to be set then. I don't really know.
Okay.
But the goofs here on IMDb are so fucking funny. It's like set in 2001. John Kramer has a Gmail account. Gmail didn't exist in 2004.
Right.
He's offered this tequila that didn't exist yet. It goes on and on. Like
It's a lot of that stuff. Dude, the goofs are pretty thorough, I have to say. We're talking about like cell phone models also, like so and so, like the woman who plays Cecilia has this Motorola phone that didn't come around until 2004.
right.
Like, I appreciate the lack of life a person must have to get them deets up on the IMDb. Like real stunning wastes of time.
Oh.
Really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. If you don't have hobbies and you are just like watching these things with like a pen and pencil and like pausing your 4K of Saw X to fucking find the little details to make it make sense. Like
Yeah.
that is just a sad existence. I'm sorry for you if you are that person. I don't mean to hit your existence even more than it already has been, clearly.
But now,
Someone listening is like, hey,
I'm sorry.
That's
I'm
me.
sorry.
I added those.
Like I'm literally here with a pen and paper with my Saw X notes, so I kind of feel like that as well.
I'm
But-
close to
sure.
it. Close. I'm very close.
But now 2001. Now apparently the sequel to this is supposedly going to be a direct sequel from the events of this film. Hopefully, John Kramer sees the towers go down, and the next
Oh
one
man.
is him making gadgets against Al Qaeda or something.
Oh
Hello,
yeah.
Osama. I want to play a game. You know, someone tells me you like Seinfeld DVDs.
You know what? Get Sam Rockwell back as Bush and like see him get Kramer out there.
What
Him-
movie was he doing? Bush in?
Vice. In Vice, he's he's Bush.
Sure. That
Uh,
movie is terrible.
I went back to that movie. You forget how fucking bad it is. It's
no,
so
I
mu-
didn't.
It's so much worse than you can even like concept. He tries every fucking idea he ever had. For
Adam
that movie.
McKay, you mean?
Yeah, Adam
Mhm.
McKay just throws everything at the wall in that movie, and none of it sticks.
I just love that one shot of, big old fat Christian
Yes.
Bale looking down at the guy that fell off the telephone pole or something.
Oh, right.
That's all I remember from the movie.
the only good stuff about. Oh, now we're talking about Vice way too much. But
That's
like,
okay.
they're in the early scenes when they have Dick Cheney, like they actually dramatize the fact that Dick Cheney, when he was younger, was a piece of fucking shit.
Woo!
Like
Sure.
drunk all the time
And
and
hot
just
as hell.
starting fights all the fucking time.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it's just an
Rough and
absolute
tumble.
hillbilly piece of shit. And like
Hellbilly.
they actually give like some dramatization before they get into all this shit. But once the shit starts, it's bad. It's real fucking bad.
See, Chris, Vice is on our minds because Vice is sort of like a saw trap, right?
it is.
That's very true. So we start this movie, and like, God bless it, we're back to the rusty ass piece of shit Lionsgate logo. That gets everybody in the mood to watch these movies.
Oh, yeah.
And this is John Kramer. He's getting a CAT scan, and dude, we have a little League of Skeletons shit here.
Oh.
Like, he's getting this CAT scan, and we're doing like superimpose like the skull pictures over it. And I was like, man, just one of those, just one of them. You need to flash Billy the puppet over his face. Just one time you have to do that. It would be so perfect. And everybody would eat that shit up. They absolutely would.
That's the tumor. He's got a little puppet in his head.
So, oh, the puppet is malignant. We can't cut this out of you.
That'd be the only way you could get that thing through TSA. How does he get that to Mexico City?
Dude, how are we getting a lot of stuff to Mexico City or just sourcing it in Mexico in general?
Do not even open the Pandora's box about how any of this shit happens. Like
Right.
Well, you have to open the Pandora's box, Christopher, because that's how the game starts.
fucking Gabriella, bringing Gabriella out of that club in the middle of a highly like 200 people are at this fucking sex club.
Just that good, dude.
And
They're
just that good. Just invisibility cloak like Potter.
No, well, this is.
Don't mind the giant pig head at the club, everyone.
I mean, I gotta say that as much as I do, I'm fine with this movie. I'm not gonna use the L word and say that I like it, but like an unfortunate thing of this movie is they're doing a lot of that stuff and saying a lot of that stuff and getting away with a lot of that stuff with the shitty presumption or excuse rather of like, well, it's Mexico. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like, oh, girl got kidnapped by a pig mask person right out of a crowded dance club.
Yep.
Well, it's
What-
Mexico.
Oh my
Once we
God.
get to Mexico, there is a taxi driver who takes them around to see like these beautiful, amazing structures. And he's like,
Yes.
you see that? yeah, that's actually a piece of shit. This place is a piece of shit, and actually, it's dangerous here.
Yeah, I could do that. I could do those Aztec saw traps. Oh, body rolls downstairs. Big deal.
Yeah.
Big whoop. I bet the Aztecs didn't put a metal helmet on some guy's face and kill him with a bear trap.
ripped a heart out. Big fucking deal.
But,
God damn it.
The depiction of Mexico is, yes, we are doing the yellow tint, everyone.
Oh, man.
Just a scotch, but not like
It's there.
traffic bad. It's there.
At the start, when he first gets there, like at the airport or whatever, it's
Yeah,
there. But
yeah,
it
it
lightens
definitely
up a
is.
little bit once because they kind of go outside of the city, and I think that's when it's like,
Oh, I could finally breathe. It's
Yeah.
not as yellow anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So he's at this cancer support group really quickly here at the beginning. And, again, I think it's kind of fascinating to see John Kramer moving and shaking in the real world. So he's at this, meeting for, fellow people afflicted with cancer. And he hears from this dude, Henry Kessler, that has stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And that's kind of the only thing we get about him right there. We have another doctor telling him, hey, you got like a year, maybe some months here. And he's like, I still have a lot of work that needs to be done. And this dude's like, hey, here's an idea. Why don't you retire and just live out, the rest of your life as best you can? And he's like,
So your advice to me is to die easy.
You piece of shit. You know what? You're going to get a bear trap on your dick because of that. I'm not going to do the full face one like I want to, but I'm going to do something to you and your children.
I'm not going to die easy. John McClane gets to die hard. Why would I have to die easy?
What is the deal with this doctor, though? Because I guess, you see a bunch of different doctors when you have an affliction like this or whatever, but like, wasn't Carrie Elways his doctor at one point? Isn't that the whole thing?
In America, he is his doctor.
Well, this
But-
is in America right here, too.
yes,
at the
I guess.
beginning.
it is.
Yeah.
But Carrie Elways is already dead now, right? Because this is between 1 and 2.
Because he's already started.
Sure. Yeah,
so this
that's
is like
right.
the new guy, but then it's also like, how long is this fucking like? It's like you got a month to live. Okay, yeah, you could fit about 15 movies in.
That's another problem with this movie is you don't understand because you can't what exactly is going on with the passage of time, i.e. like what is the length of time? The most important one is what is the length of time between him figuring out he's been hilariously duped by people on the internet and him executing all of these traps on these people over the course of one wild night. Like you don't get that. So I'm like, yeah, if he's got months to live, but you're like bringing in all of this fucking engineering equipment and whatever.
It would
it's
have made
best not to think about it, Chris. You're right.
It's a Pandora's box. You open it, this thing imagine when fucking whoever has to propel down from the ceiling in fucking Cecilia's house to grab her,
yes.
and there's apparently no fucking security on the building.
I think that's Amanda, but yeah, no. But the thing is
Yeah.
with this, it's like you could have just drove an old
Yeah.
man in a van. He could have seen at the border, but then you wouldn't set up the taxi driver Diego, who turns out to be the fake Dr. Cortez. You'd have to have just a different scene to convey that.
Yes.
Right, that's true. I love this scene of him leaving this doctor's office and he's waiting for he goes to a water fountain and he sees this janitor like in this guy's room, and the janitor is like sifting through a drawer here, like considering stealing this dude's wedding band and watch or whatever. And John Kramer pulls a full-on Usual Suspects right here because he looks around the room and he's like,
Boy, I sure would love to kill that guy in a trap. Huh. If I were to build one of these traps right now, what could it consist of?
and he sees like the dude in the hospital bed that has like all the bones in his body broken or whatever, and he's got his hand in some contraption, kind of like when Doctor Strange has the car accident,
Yes.
and he's like in all these braces or
Right.
whatever. And then you cut to this room, and it's like, oh, there's the finger things.
Hello, janitor.
And this dude's got like tubes on his eyes or whatever. And this is a pretty cool sequence, but I gotta say, I do not appreciate the fucking trap fake out. This is just a
agree.
dream sequence. It's bullshit.
It's stupid that it's a fake out.
It is, but it's showing you his process. It's his creative process. And what they don't show you, and I got a little pissed at this, is he is very clearly jerking off while he's thinking of this.
absolutely.
No doubt about it.
He is not in sight of the thief, so he has some room to really put out. And
yeah. Chris, do you think he's got some cock traps for his own like pleasure? You know,
oh, for sure. I don't know if they're metal made. He's probably smart enough not to know. Put his own.
They're probably made out of the flesh of his victims.
You know what? That is actually he
I mean-
does have he has a lot of material there.
It's an actual fleshlight.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, very possible, Eric. But yes,
Yeah.
we do get this eye suck. It's the best trap in the movie to me for sure.
It's a solid one. I love the eyeballs dropping down into the box, just like dunk, dunk.
I also like it because like I'm kind of the one thing I will give this movie about its decision on the deaths. I think a lot of them are not particularly good, but like I do like one thing, and that is that now we are having more survivors.
Right.
Yes.
Like that is
yeah.
to me much more interesting than like. And my theory here is that of course they are all going to try again to kill John Kramer in the next one and get saw trapped to death.
Mhm.
So now this is both of you have mentioned the next one. Has there been a greenlit?
At least
thing?
according to Wikipedia, it said sequel in December 2023. Lionsgate announced the
Yes.
sequel, Saw 11,
okay.
scheduled to be released September 27th, 2024. And it's supposed to be a direct sequel to Saw X.
And that's why I am 100% sure, because you mentioned Kessler in the beginning. That is played by I forget the guy's name. Black Mantis's father from Aquaman. He's a really good actor. I'm completely
Michael
on
Beach.
Michael Beach. Thank you.
Ooh, good name.
He is you only see him like one more time after this, and that's it. He's definitely
Yeah.
coming back. And there's one of the victims that will 100% be coming back.
Yeah.
But like you're just like winding it all back up here. Like that's why I kind of think of it in the alternate universe way, is because like we've gone away from all the grubby, shitty like aesthetics. Like even
Yeah.
Saw 3D looks like shit. Like
Mhm.
it looks a little better than like of course the digital
We
stuff.
do get to warehouses in this and just sitting around
Yes.
warehouses, but they look better. They're lit
Yes.
better.
Exactly. That's I think that we're getting away from the grubbiness of it. Like Jigsaw was the
Right.
first one to actually make it look really good. Jigsaw looks great.
Chris, you are really selling me on this being a Calvin timeline.
I'm telling you, it's the only thing that makes sense to me. Because, like, I think it all ends with Saw 3D is the last of that timeline. And both Jigsaw and Spiral were attempts to rejigger it completely,
Yeah.
Right.
refigure what can we do with this now that fucking John Kramer is not with us anymore. And I don't know about Shawnee. I forget how Shawnee Smith and Costas Mandalore end up with all this shit.
I just graduated Sawfleet Academy.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Amanda and Detective Costas Mandalore, graduates of
Yes.
Sawfleet Academy. Absolutely. I think to your question, Chris, Amanda eats shit at the end of the third one, maybe. She gets shot in the same room, I think, that Jigsaw winds up dying in.
Okay.
Yes, but
So
it's
she's
smart,
fine.
I think, because I think it's kind of smart to do this because who gives a shit about the actors aging? Horror fans don't care about shit like that.
No.
So why, like, Tobin Bell and Shawnee Smith are arguably the better things in this franchise. Keep them going.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually, because you are seeing the two of them work together throughout this whole movie, and it's way more interesting to me, at least, than like,
Yep, we set all this shit up days ago, and now you're just watching it unfold.
like in this, it's like we don't see the setup days ago, but they are present for these things taken off. I like that they're in the room a lot. I like that there's one part in this movie where the one girl decides, fuck you, I'm not gonna play that tape, and she throws the tape recorder away, and he's like,
That's not how this works. Luckily, I've got the script to that tape right here, and I'm just reading it over the microphone.
I didn't delete the files, did I? Oh fuck! Where's my word? Where's
Also-
my Microsoft Word?
No police after him right here,
Nothing.
which
No,
is
no,
good
no.
because
Well-
I get tired of like a Donnie Wahlberg type
Yep.
wandering around a darkness, you know?
because that shit is it's never interesting. I'm
No.
sorry, unless the police are the focus of the movie, like a Seven situation.
Yes.
It always sucks, and I'm calling it out right now. A movie that I think would have been 1,000 times better, even though I did have a ball watching it. That Beekeeper movie is totally hamstrung by these two useless FBI characters that are 30 minutes behind the whole movie the entire time, and it's
awful.
There's a few more hams stringing up the beekeeper, but I do agree with you. That is a major issue.
Honey glazed hams.
There's many hand grabs. So Michael Beach. So we have this cancer scene where they're like, he's like, oh God, and I got stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And I'm getting ready to die, but I'm still pissed about it. And you can see John Kramer is really into that idea and is like, oh yeah, fuck that, fuck. What does the lady say? Well, no, it's not to die easy, but she's like, think of like you're passing on to another life. You're like, she's trying to like tell them to like be like accept things in a way, and they're like, fuck that shit. I want to kill a few people on my way out.
Well, right, because this dude Kessler says, I have stage 4 pancreatic cancer. It's terminal. I am determined to fight this thing till the very end. And John Kramer's like,
ooh, a fighter. Ooh, I like that.
I like a fighter. And then it's, I think, like months later, he's at a sidewalk cafe going over his last will.
Thank you. You are outside. You got like outside coffee or whatever. And you are like, the wind is blowing. You're trying to fill out this fucking will. Come on.
It's just like the most like it's like the most bougiest thing I've ever seen in my life. He gets this little tiny French press of coffee.
Yes.
He's at this nice little sidewalk cafe going to his last will and testament. And there is fucking Henry Kessler about to order a delicious looking blueberry scone.
Oh, you wanted a blueberry scone?
And he and John's like, hey, Henry. He looks healthy, and like Henry, he's like, hey, Henry, hey, it's John Kramer. Remember me? We're both the fighters, and we didn't die. Remember that? And he gets down, and he tells him, I'm cured.
Yes, complete remission.
I have a war wound. He shows him this big scar on his chest that he calls his war wound.
Looks like Fred Krueger got to this guy with this thing.
How do you, okay, like the thing, the twist later is that Henry's in on this kind of fake medical scam.
Yeah.
How do you make a fake scar good enough to impress Jigsaw right at the top here?
Well, I think, you know what? That's an excellent point, Eric. And I think the only answer is somehow this dude indeed hired Tom Savini to make this scar makeup.
Oh, Tom Savini's in it. You've made blood come out of fake heads your whole life. How about it's coming out of your head now?
I created an actual pumpkin head.
Oh, Tom Savini, you thought it was a good idea to make the zombies in Dawn of the Dead blue for some reason. Well, now I'm going to choke you till you're blue.
My theory on this is that because we do hear when the big twist happens about 30 minutes in, we do hear John Kramer making a phone call to detective, and I assume that is Costas Mandylor, and that I think Costas Mandylor probably kills Henry Kessler, and that's the opening of the sequel.
Sure, yeah,
because like
he's shown at the stingers helping Jigsaw set up the trap.
Because the what doesn't make sense to me is like it doesn't make sense. What you said about the scar also struck me. I'm like, John Kramer knows all. Like, he's an idiot, but he also knows what's going on a lot of the time.
Right.
True, but I think another thing that this movie kind of tries to do, I guess, is like show you that he is kind of like this fallible dude. And in that moment, I think it's like, oh, fuck, this guy should be dead. And now he's walking around getting a scone? Hold on.
I want to be enjoying a scone. I haven't enjoyed a scone since 1998.
So I'm not enjoying a scone. I'm sitting here enjoying signing my will.
So this Henry Kessler character goes to cancer groups, puts on a cry show, and then, like, I guess keeps tabs on everyone and just bumps into them later and be like, oh,
Yeah, dude, these are some sick tickets, man.
Yeah, he's like a plant. He's like literally a good industry plant to like bring people to this the petersonproject.net.
Yeah. Okay. Here's a good fucking rule of thumb out there. All right. If someone is telling you they have like this magic cancer cure, which by the way, I went to Mexico for, or no, he says he went to Sweden, I think. Anyway,
Norway. Yeah.
Norway. You're right. Yeah. Because the actress playing Cecilia is Norwegian. But he's like, oh, I went to Norway, blah, 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 blah. Here's the information. I'll write it on this napkin. And the URL for this website is a .net. Get right out of there.
Not great.
Get right out of there.
I'm going to email my cancer doctor at geocities.com.
My Hotmail doctor. I mean, the other thing he says, he's like, now you can't get it here because it isn't FDA approved. The FDA would approve fried shrimp to treat AIDS. Like they
Yeah.
they don't really like say no too much. Like
Right,
they
but
really do let quite a lot through.
it's just a line of just like,
American bureaucracy. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah, fuck America.
Yes, and I'm forced like that. This is such an opportunity to like really press that like he was forced into this because the healthcare in America isn't good and forced
Right.
him into this. Like there is an argument to be made where this makes more sense, but it's not that. It's just that he's an idiot and fell for like the last possible thing, this total scam to get him more life.
Because that's what happens, dude. That's what happens to old people and the internet. All
Yes.
right. Like I said it in my little intro line. Like old people are the most easily scammed by the internet. And if
Yeah.
this takes place in 2001, like this is even before they were getting scammed on social media. Like this
Right.
dude's just getting scammed.
It's
Yes.
so funny. I think that should be the through line of the next movie and maybe this new trilogy that they're cultivating here is him getting scammed each time, you know?
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude,
man.
if he keeps falling for
So
scams.
funny, yes.
Yes.
Amanda, did you know that Obama's a secret Muslim and there's going to be death panels?
I talked to a prince in Haiti, and he's going to
Yeah.
give me safe passage to his kingdom.
Oh, yeah, I got a phone call. This poor guy was trapped while traveling and just needed some money sent to him. So,
Mhm.
I wanted to help him out, try to pay it forward. Now my bank account's been frozen. You're here because you had an illegitimate GoFundMe. You weren't sick. I'm sick. You weren't sick. I want my $50 back and pints of your blood.
That's that one sounds the most Saw-like. Is that a GoFundMe would be
Oh,
fake.
right? That'd
he
be
would
great.
he would be pissed off about that.
Oh, yeah, those are out there.
Oh yeah, he'd be very pissed off about that. But like, so he goes home and he's watching YouTube videos of Dr. Finn Peterson, who has been forced into hiding because of his cancer treatment.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that this dude like isn't real or like maybe died several years ago because
Maybe.
the whole operation is being run by his daughter Cecilia Peterson,
Yes.
Right.
who calls him here. And this is Synnøve Mackie Lund, who's a Norwegian actress. She's been in she was in you know what she was in is that Girl in the Spider's Web, the Claire Foy
Ooh.
dragon tattoo
Oof.
movie. Yeah. And then a bunch of other European stuff that hasn't really crossed over here. But she's like, yeah, so we can definitely do this with my dad's cure. Just to let you know, our new facility just outside of Mexico City, it's a little off the grid right there. Again, big no thanks, John Kramer.
Yeah.
The medical facility is off the grid because this dude is being hunted by
Yes.
authorities.
And
They are
there's-
cancer renegades, is
Yes.
what's happening here.
Yes, they're cancer freedom fighters because there's some line about like, well, big pharma, or maybe it's just on the screen, like big pharma will like shut it, like they're trying to shut them down because it would cure like all these diseases, and then they wouldn't be able to sell medication.
Yes. So like Big Pharma is definitely a better choice than this. That's good. That's a good intimation right there.
This is kind of like those lines that they throw out here are that sort of cancer conspiracy stuff of like, well, how is it that they haven't found a cure for cancer by now? They're just hiding it so they can make,
Right.
you know what I
What?
mean? Like all that shit, which
Great.
like, honestly, if it turned out to be true, I wouldn't be surprised. But
Exactly.
I'm not going around reading about that shit on the internet or watching YouTube
It's
videos.
better as a Chris Rock joke than it is as a
Yes.
fucking state of mind about the fucking state of healthcare. in
A
this
Chris
country.
Rock joke is what? Spiral? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, but yes, that is another one of them.
Oh,
Hey-o.
So whatever, this dying dude goes to Mexico here, and yes, this is the guy giving him the tour of everything around Mexico City. He does make mention of like, hey, and then here's this Aztec shrine where tourists always ask me to take them, and this is where they cut out hearts and threw them down the stairs, and blah blah blah.
Yes, yes.
Wouldn't like okay, you're John Kramer, you are nearly at the end. Even if you are going to find maybe your last chance to get out of this death sentence, even on the plane, guess what I'm doing? I'm getting in a wheelchair and
Mhm.
I'm
Yep.
going to save my energy because the one thing I know about cancer treatments is you get zapped of energy constantly.
That's true.
It's just but no, John Kramer has to be that asshole. He's like, no, I'm going to walk. Don't you fucking touch me.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't need your help.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Like, and
So-
he gets in the, yes, as you said, the
Yeah.
cab, and he goes around all these
Oh,
places.
you know, cancer's so expensive. You want to share?
I mean,
think
yeah,
it- yeah.
kind of pretty much, honestly.
Ta-
It's like,
taken. Yeah.
book your own transport in advance, John Kramer. And so they're driving along. It goes really from like we're in Mexico City to like we cut, and all of a sudden this dude is just driving on grass. And again, I would be like if I'm John Kramer, it's like, now we're just literally not driving on a road anymore. This is trouble.
Well,
Any-
that's Mexico.
Well, yeah, anytime I'm being put in a place where I'm like, this also looks like a Lucci Fulci film, probably not great.
I
Lucio
wish.
Fulci, like, I don't want that.
So yeah, this van comes out of nowhere, straight up kidnap van. We got fucking machine guns drawn on this taxi cab.
This is
and
a
then-
little much. It's like
Yes,
it's like
yes.
Big Pharma's going to come down here with a paramilitary to stop us from curing cancer, and we need the big guns to stop them from stopping us.
Well, 'cause imagine this. You're like, this happens to you. You're John Kramer, and you're living through this thing. And you're like, and they're like, actually, putting a gun in your face with black masks on and like looking like you're getting kidnapped for your life. Actually, this was just a check. This was a security check to make sure
Right.
that you are really John Kramer. Wouldn't you just immediately be like, you know what? No thanks. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm just
Yeah.
gonna
Yes.
die of
No,
cancer. That's
exactly.
good by me. I don't want to. Whatever the next phase of this is, I don't need.
Because
to
we're
see
like invoking like a cartel kidnapping here or
Yes,
something.
yes,
Which
yeah.
honestly, I don't know. I would watch that Saw movie as well.
I have to get to the doctor. No, you're kidnapping me. I have nothing to do with drug running. I have to get to the doctor. Yeah, whatever. Sit down, American.
it. Well, yeah. Oh man. It doesn't involve the cartel because S. Craig Zoller did not get to direct.
Oh my god! Imagine him doing a Saw movie, Chris.
Give it to him tomorrow.
Oh,
Like I know he has his
yes.
new movie is coming out this year, and I'm very excited, like everybody else. And he did. I will say he did put this on his top 10 movies of 2023.
Did he? Wait, where are you
did, he
getting
did.
this information?
This is on
His
Letterboxd.
personal email correspondence
yeah.
with S. Craig
The
Zoller.
S. Craig
By the way,
Zoller Project.net.
He's on Letterboxd, or
Is he?
people say he's on Letterboxd.
oh, I just saw you follow that, where the
Yeah, yeah.
account is literally not S. Craig Zoller.
Well, like the same thing. Like they do that. Like not Dave Kerr is Dave Kerr.
Right. Like not Bill Murray is Bill Murray on Twitter.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Yes.
I do like here where they're like,
Who the fuck are you? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I am John Kramer.
it's pretty like you want him because there is a break between I am and then John Kramer. I so want him to be like,
I am Jigsaw.
like just
Yes.
once, just once, say it into the camera for me, Big Daddy. Come
Because
on,
he's
man.
already jigsawed already. You know, he's already
That's
laid on a warehouse floor for their entire movie.
And like this guy's so paranoid, and like these two guys are like, oh, actually, yep, you're fine. We're just going to the nice cancer treatment house
Yep.
mansion that we're gonna bring you to. Don't worry about it, Mr. Kramer. That was just a security check. Here is your nice white lady to bring you through
Uh-huh.
the rest of this cancer world. And also meet our lovely Gabriella, who just got a brand new hit of smack, and she's looking great.
Yep, absolutely. This is who meets them at the door is Gabriella, played by Renata Vaca. And she is also like hyping up the story. She's like, oh, welcome. Oh, these pictures on the wall that my family, lived here. I grew up here. Dr. Peterson saved my life.
Yes,
and
of
he's
course.
just like,
Oh, well, if this innocent young girl is saying that Dr. Peterson helped out, this all must be on the up and up. First a .NET website, now this. Oh, yeah.
Would you say that I am now part of the cancer rebellion? Because that's what I feel like. I feel like I'm part of a really ragtag group of people who are going to beat cancer for good.
Yeah.
I feel part of a group now. I love it.
We're going to start getting malignant against the system.
yeah, saw.
Oi, and I'm Parker Sears.
Oh,
I used to have a tumor big as my knob, which was quite large.
Okay.
He does meet this Dr. Peterson right here. And this is where she's like, oh, yeah, sorry about that greeting. We had to step up security because Big Pharma is always on our ass.
That's
she
right.
says.
Yes, of course.
And okay, so here we go. Red flag number 76. She takes him on a tour of this facility and she's like, oh yeah, here's where the surgery will be happening. Don't worry about it. This used to be an old chemical factory.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd be like, I don't know, man. Are you planning to turn me into the Joker? What are you doing?
Right. That doesn't sound very sterile.
No.
Right, yeah, exactly.
No, and like they make it like a clean room. It looks like something from a Fincher film.
Yes, yes.
And they go in, and he gets to see Parker Sears,
Yes.
who's getting prepped, and he does say that he had a tumor the size of his dick, or the head of his dick, I suppose.
He had a penis-shaped tumor in his throat.
Which, I mean, I would hear that, and I'm like, yeah, actually, can I give you more money
Also,
to do this? This sounds so legit. A dick-sized tumor got removed from his neck. You say that's Oh, I can't wait to give you more money.
also this name, Parker Sears. What is you looking around the room? Oh, there's a game by Parker Brothers. Oh, there's a photo of Chicago. That's the Sears Tower.
Yeah,
I'm Parker
it
Sears.
is. It's awful. It is such a bad name, and you can tell it's a bad name because like it sticks out like a sore thumb, and everybody's saying it, and you're like, God damn that terrible name. Oh my god.
It's because we kept making fun of Jeff. Now they're giving us Parker Sears.
And here's my brother, Barnum Macy's.
Oh, here we go. MacDonald Gimbals. Yes.
We meet the
procedure worked for McDonald Gimbals. It's going to work for me. I'm a fighter.
He had a war wound. I saw it.
shaped like a dick, that war wound. So yeah, he meets like this whole team. There's Mateo, who's like an anesthesiologist. This is Octavia Hinojosa, Parker Sears, Stephen Brand. And so Cecilia's like, all right, hey, so, what do you do for a living? And this is because he has already started jigsawing around. He's like, basically like, yeah, I'm a life coach of sorts. I help people through personal obstacles.
Yes. Are you into classic cars?
Oh, not really. I'm more into taking heads off of bodies.
Is more. You get the congratulations tequila that he can't have yet. Gabriella is giving him. It's special. We're gonna see it again later.
Yes.
It is not product placement. No, it is.
Is this tequila also owned by Mark Wahlberg, or is this one that
maybe.
Tobin Bell set up for himself?
Whatever it is, it's a goof because it didn't exist in 2001, apparently.
Oh, really? Oh, well.
Yeah,
of
let me
course.
try to find that goof for all these fine folks.
Here's my time-traveling tequila. It hasn't been invented yet. That's how good it is.
Well, it's the Calvin timeline, man.
It is.
Oh, there's a bit of bullshit right here. Like the night before the surgery, he's like, boy, I sure am having trouble sleeping. What's that noise?
Man.
And he goes out, and this is where we re-meet little Carlos, who's going to play a huge role at the end of this movie. And he like helps him fix his bike. And this whole scene exists so that John Kramer can learn the word for like to pull in Spanish.
Yes.
That's all that exists. This scene exists for
Yep.
because at the end of the movie, he needs to utilize that information.
Well, it establishes Carlos, who I guarantee you is coming back in the next movie as a helper, or maybe even we'll do a movie 20 years in the future, or what?
Yeah.
This
Jigsaw Jr.
Exactly. It's like,
Carlos, your time has come. I am dead.
You're setting up a lot of things to branch out to whatever the next phase of this piece of shit's gonna be. And like Michael Pena in 2 movies being Carlos, the new Jigsaw, makes a lot of sense to me. That
I'd
really
watch
does.
that.
Like that's fine. But yeah, this is my. Any time you're trying to make John Kramer sweet,
yes,
I'm out. I'm so out, and I'm not really in on any of the other stuff. To be fair, but like this is where I'm just like, what is even the point of this other than to be like, you know what? He's not such a bad guy.
He's not a bad guy. He's not. He bonds with Carlos and Gabriella, so he's a good guy, Chris.
Yes, he's a really nice guy who just loves ripping people's heads off.
By the way, tequila update. The tequila is Código 1530, which was co-founded by country music singer George Strait.
Of course.
Whoa.
Yes.
Everything's a celebrity piece of shit.
Yes. Is he? Oh man, maybe he's gonna be in Saw 11. Maybe get George Strait in Saw 11.
Oh
maybe
sure, yeah.
I don't know.
Hey man, you want to play a game, man?
Hey,
George Strait.
I also got cancer, man.
Can I join the Cancer Avengers with you, John Kramer?
A couple 70-year-olds kicking butt, killing people for no reason.
I'm going to be Tumor. What do you want to be?
Yeah, whatever. He's helping this kid fix the bike, and he's like, pull. What? How do you say pull? And he goes, halar. I'm like, all right, halar. And it's important right here to note also that he asks him something about English, and the kid says no, and he's like, well, that's about the extent of my Spanish knowledge. Only later for him to say something in Spanish, and I was like, wait a second. You told that little kid you didn't speak Spanish.
Well, he has to play everybody, Andrew. He can't, like, to keep up the artifice to really sell the thing. He has to lie to everybody. So even this child cannot be told the truth.
Because I think it's the when the revenge is starting, and he goes back to get the cab driver, and the dude in Spanish says, where are we going or whatever. And John Kramer in Spanish responds with "to hell."
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
so
was it? I guess that was him, or yeah, it was him, right? Because he takes off his mask there, or was that Shawnee Smith? She starts kidnapping people at some point.
She does. You don't see John Kramer in that scene.
But I think that first one is supposed to be him, and she's getting the rest of them.
Right.
That's more likely. I would probably agree with you, because he is the one. When we cut to see what is happening to Diego in the arm bombs, that is John Kramer is all over it. He's the only person there.
Right. So he goes in for this fake surgery that he doesn't know is fake quite yet,
Right.
and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna have a waking craniotomy, and that means we're gonna cut your fucking head open while you're in and out of consciousness," which sounds terrifying.
It does. And like, this is so low. Like, when we find out, like, so he goes through it. There's one point where he wakes up and he sees on the screen something. It looks like what you would think the inside of a brain would look like.
Right. The surgery happening, but it's not.
It's not. It turns out it is not. He goes through the surgery.
DVD.
It's a DVD for Surgeons of Tomorrow, which, if anybody has this, please give it to me.
Seriously. What's this box set look like? What do the fucking interactive menus look like?
DM me or DM the show. Do whatever. Just give me this thing.
I hope it has surgeons commentary tracks.
Oh man, please.
Oh, he's fucking up there.
Yes.
Oh, he also fucked up there.
Something they never got right in Scrubs is the way that we all like love each other. He goes through it. He's actually they give him some gas so that he knocks out for good. Nobody but the nurse Valentina, is that it?
Yeah,
I think that's
so.
right. Yes.
Yeah.
Is going to see him, other than Dr. Peterson, Cecilia Peterson sees him when he wakes up, gives him all the don't take off your bandages, take some rest.
Right, because they're antibacterial. Now, you can make this con so much more convincing.
Yeah,
shave his head and then like just cut the scalp and stitch it back.
This is so low rent. Like, I would be so much more into the idea that this is actually like a scam being backed by like really like wealthy people, but like clearly they are hiring from the bottom of the barrel. Like, they're when he comes back to find out this is all a fucking sham. They left the DVD case out. They fucking
it's a real bad cleanup job.
So funny.
You're absolutely right.
Didn't even buzz his hair. Like, you had the buzzer there.
Buzzer.
Yes, you're totally right. There is a shot of the buzzer and like one of these fake medical technicians turning it on. It's like, zzz, like, at least do that.
Yes, it's a problem that everyone here is faking being a medical person. Why not get like a Dr. Nick Riviera, someone who like flunked out?
Yeah, you can find those fuckers. Absolutely.
The gravitas of a saw trap on that guy, and Kramer going like, you took an oath when you went to medical school and you betrayed it. Beautiful, beautiful.
Yes. You vowed to do no harm, and now I vowed to leave you with no arms. How about that?
Give him the eye suck machine. That like,
ooh, yeah, put it on his dick though.
Yeah, fine.
Dick
that will
suck
be
machine. I think people have been trying to invent that for years.
They have, and they have. The Japanese have really made some strides. But so
I'm going to Japan to get my dick sucked.
We're close. We're close to that, Eric. So he wakes up. He's not. You know what? He's not dreaming. He made a saw trap sketch, and he's like, no, that's wrong. So he rips it out of his
Dude,
notebook.
this
He
is
throws it out.
it's so funny to me because it's like it's looking like a real good fucking
Yeah.
head destroyer trap or whatever. And then he's like, you know what? No, I'm leaving that life behind. And as he crinkles it up, they cut to this like medium shot of him on this bench.
Yeah, I just got a little froyo here. It's got some froyo sitting in the park on an afternoon designing my saw traps in my sketchbook. Yeah, I'm not a total psycho.
I can't wait to live another 15 years. It's gonna be so great. And like, so he's like sketching hills and all this shit, and like enjoying life, quote unquote, drinking Americanos.
How could he retire? He's got more little murder machines to devise.
Well, no, because he's going to turn into a sketch art. It seems like he's just going to sketch like hills and mountains for the rest of his life if he were to live.
You know what's weird about this, and I guess it's just showing you like once a civil engineer, always a civil engineer or whatever, but he's like, not only is he sketching the mountains, he's like sketching stuff that he can see. So like here's this radio tower that's on top of the mountain and whatever. And he's doing what looks like some sort of like navigational like calculations or something. And I guess he's just drawing stuff and obsessed with making it to scale or something. But I thought he was trying to determine like where he was, because when he wakes up, there's this whole thing about like, oh, we're not at the facility anymore. We're at a hospital that's 2 blocks away from Dr. Mateo's hospital. So in case anything, if you needed a blood transfusion, she says, you'd be, closer to getting that or whatever. And I thought he was like,
Where the fuck are they keeping me? All right, this looks like the radio tower's here.
That would be
but I guess it's just like
interesting.
he's drawing to scale. I don't know.
That honestly, Eric is right. That is very interesting. But if that is true, the filmmakers do almost nothing to draw attention
Because
to that fact.
he could have tracked
Yeah.
down the place he was at from his drawings or whatever versus kidnapping the cab driver.
Exactly.
Which is what I mean. After he buys he time travels, gets this bottle of tequila, comes back,
right.
and he brings it over to where he got his surgery. He is not met by a gang of militants who are going to bring him to his cancer thing. He gets right to the door.
Yes.
With a nice bottle with Gabriella greeting card, and nobody's fucking there.
By the way,
fucking gone.
It's
Ghost town.
so funny when he goes to the liquor store. He's like, "You have a card to go with it," and it's just. And
Do you have cards in Mexico? I don't know.
But the card to go, it's just a piece of paper that says Gabriella on it. It's
Yeah.
just like, what did you expect from a liquor store anyway?
Well, that's the thing. I don't think it's so much, do you have cards in Mexico? It's, do you have cards at this liquor store? Which I've been in that situation, man. You got to ask the person at the liquor store if there's like a gift bag you can also buy.
Right.
It is kind of sad. You might as well be like throwing a pack of condoms and some lotto tickets. That's the level that I'm at right now, asking for a bag like that in a gift store.
Gabriella,
Liquor store.
Gabriella, I got you scratch offs.
Scratchers.
Well, I guess I do have to give him credit on that. It is not a place like that. It looks like a very fancy liquor store he goes to.
Well,
get
that's
this.
it does look pretty nice.
It's
Yeah,
a pretty
you're right.
nice little place. But
And
anyway, yes.
apparently, Chris, on the door, it has some stickers for apps that don't exist in 2001.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
You can get Grubhub in 2002.
in the Calvin timeline, yes.
in the Calvin timeline. So he goes to, it's a ghost town at
The
old,
fucking front door is wide open. Like, here's the thing about that DVD being left on. Like, the monitor, they at once didn't clean up, but also made more of a mess because like there's a like a head to toe like floor mirror thing that's just broken. The monitor that's playing the DVD is turned over, but the DVD menu like is still on. I don't know why they decided to fuck up their own hideout. It's really weird.
It's bizarre.
I'm a little shocked we didn't get a John Kramer walking into this fucking this former clinic and just getting a Night of the Living Dead like horde of homeless people as zombies.
Oh yes,
Because clearly that's how he sees them. I mean, like we've heard what he thinks of the poor people who used to use his clinic.
Right.
But that is not what happens. He sees all this. He makes the realization almost immediately, pulls off his bandages, and they have done jack shit to his head. They haven't even like, imagine
Nothing.
this. Imagine he pulls that off and he just has a shaved head and like scars in it. He might have bought that.
Yes,
Exactly,
yes.
dude. Exactly.
This is why we
Like,
got to do it right when we're older and we start running scams.
yes,
when we
that's
start
right.
doing saw traps and like that never work, we should definitely think this
So
through.
now does he does, I guess the idea is like this is a touring scam. They'll go somewhere else, which also
Norway is next, baby.
why not just pack up all your stuff and reuse that precious DVD? But no,
Yeah.
I guess John Kramer now just uses this warehouse as his murder laboratory. Is that right?
Right. Well, because when he turns the lights on, like the first time he sees this lab where the procedure happens or doesn't happen as it is, it's all like, what am I trying to say? Like fluorescent lighting. It's very sterile, white, sort of clean lighting kind of a thing. When he comes back to it, he turns the lights on and it looks immediately like a Saw warehouse. Like it's yellow and green
Yes.
lighting, everything's shitty. And he's like, oh, now this place kind of feels like home. All right, I'll set up shop here.
There's a certain familiar aesthetic here.
There should have been a scene like The Killer where it's like, oh, who's coming to the door? And they're just dropping off menus in the mail.
Oh,
Thank God I don't have to saw that guy.
Now,
Echoing through the clinic is punctured bicycle on the hillside.
Fuck yeah, dude, trade up.
she hopes to make a man out of me. Yeah.
That would be great.
Who's playing that delightful music?
But you're right, Eric, because while this movie is borderline 2 hours, which is a problem,
It's too long, yeah.
I want just the littlest bit of him making himself at home in this warehouse, which would include a similar situation of someone stopping by, dropping off menus or whatever it is, or maybe we see little Carlos kicking the football around earlier in the film as well. So it establishes that Carlos still like plays around there or something like that.
Yeah, that would be nice.
But yeah, so now it's like, okay, he sort of deduces, how the fuck do I track all these people down? Oh, I'll go back to Diego. That's the dude who, I know maybe the whereabouts of where I can find him if he's still driving the cab around, and we can go from there. And this is like he drops off some tourists, and then it's like someone else gets in the car. You don't see who it is. Where are we going? To hell, he says in Spanish. And then Diego wakes up, and fucking finally, we got a Saw trap here, a real one, not just a fake, phony dream sequence one.
Also, the whole thing with this Diego guy, it's like, so he was at the airport waiting just for John Kramer. Like, there's so many and then of course he is also Dr. Cortez. It's like, you presumably make a lot of money. Like, they bilk him out of like, what is it? Over $200,000.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're doing this multiple times.
And now you're just being a cab driver again.
Well, that's, I guess, well,
they haven't gotten paid yet. That's one of the
problems.
problems.
Right, yes, it's coming. Parker Sears.
Parker Sears has all the money.
He's got the
but
money.
that is so fucking greedy. Like, of course, someone with like any kind of perception is gonna be like, oh, that looks like my taxi driver was about to cut into my fucking head. Like, why is that happening? Am I just racist?
Because I guess he's got like the face mask on, and it's like, well, they're American. They're not going to know.
But yeah, but like literally, if you had not done that, maybe he doesn't put this together. Maybe he doesn't get Diego in that.
You can't. That's the thing. This isn't like some rinky-dink local community theater company. You don't need people playing more than one role. All right, like get another person to play the role of Dr. Cortez, because your actor already has the role of the cab driver.
Yeah, Parker Sears and Cecilia are an item, so like we know that this shit is they're sharing fucking funds. So I think fucking Diego getting an extra $5,000 is not out of control.
Yes,
you're totally right.
There's a twist that Parker Sears, if you could believe it, is actually a bad guy.
He did not have a tumor like a penis. He did not have that.
John Kramer's like, you know what? In retrospect, that did sound fake.
In life, you said that you had a tumor the shape of a penis, but what if we put Diego's penis in your throat now?
Oh, no. Oh, no. Ah!
I would watch that porno parody.
Fuck yeah, Saw XXX.
That's right.
It's right
I'm
there.
sure some twisted fuck has made that.
You think so? Let's try to look it up.
There you go. No. And while you do that and ruin your search history.
Wait, open private window.
Yeah. Oh, smart move.
Smart.
Smart move.
There you
Don't want
go.
any of them internet detectives after
Poor-
you.
Constance Mandalore gonna put me in a fucking dick sucking machine if I Google too much.
So Diego has been taken. He wakes up. He has two bombs, pipe bombs
Yes.
on his arm. They are attached through these wires that we are told cannot be cut. He's bounded up by rope as well. And we see John Kramer is in a separate room through glass. He sees him.
Very important, Chris, to note that this guy is kind of set up like you're playing Edward 40 hands, but instead of two
Yes.
delicious 40-ounce bottles of beer, you've got little blades attached there, medical tools.
Mhm.
Some frat. There has to be some genius frat guy out there who has made some like because you have to get tired of like the drinking like Olympics and just like
Yes.
picking fucking pickles up with your ass and doing a shot and then being done.
Yeah.
So some frat guy out there has to think of like make a Saw themed like frat drinking party where you have to do
Ooh,
each one of
yes.
these in a drinking like Edward 40 hands. And if you don't drink both 40, if you're the last person to finish your 40s, your arms get cut off.
Ooh.
There you go.
There you go.
By
And
the-
then,
I thought these were going to be practical drinking games until you were talking about actually cutting off someone's
well,
arms.
look, I have to call down the frat bros a little bit here. This is the best way
Well,
to do it.
the-
Get them drunk and then get them mostly not alive.
The frat bros might also like this this little nugget here. Saw a hardcore parody from 2010.
Oh,
So that is
no.
how old the Saw porno is. The Saw porno
Wow.
is so old that Ron Jeremy is the chief of police in it.
Oh, no.
Jesus, the hedgehog striking out in
Yes.
this movie? I don't think
The criminal
so.
himself.
Yes, 6 years after the original.
Written, directed by Dick Chibbles.
Oh,
Chibbles.
Oh.
Chibbles. Sorry.
Chibbles.
My
it's a Chibbles
apologies.
joint. Oh boy,
Yeah, he's got his Chibbles there.
he's quite the aesthetic.
Yeah,
He's
the
a stylist.
the director of Losers Never Get Laid and Superman. Hardcore. Anyway, I'll stop talking about it.
So one of the things about John Kramer being present for all of this stuff that I do think is amusing is now in this screenplay, so many people are just yelling, Kramer!
They are.
Just constantly yelling the name Kramer. It's very funny.
So he uses these the scalpels and he cuts through his ropes. And
Yes.
oops a doodle, that triggered something. That triggers the pipe bombs. There's numbers on his pipe bombs and they start going.
Yes.
And he's just yelling at Kramer until he notices they drop down the little tape recorder. And he plays his message. And of course, you have to cut around the pipe bombs, the skin, and rip them off
Whoa.
to get them off, or you are going to blow up.
It's fucking
Uh-huh.
brutal, man.
And
pretty
It
bad.
is really brutal.
I'm
Pretty bad.
surprised he does it and he lives. And then you get John Kramer walking in with this little medical case. You're going to be okay.
Sing the fucking song.
Now, what I want you to do with those arms that definitely work the same is bandage correctly. Because if you fuck it up, then you could get an infection, and I don't. That's not on me. That's on
Yeah,
you.
he's still doing Edward scalpel hands. You're totally right. How's he
Yeah.
supposed to bandage anything, John Kramer?
Oh,
You
God.
left him to die, John Kramer.
There was a flashback later on when we're revealing, like, oh, I knew everything all along. Like, I think this guy gives up Parker Sears at some point.
He
He
does.
does.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
They're boning. He tells them like they're fucking.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah. But this is where you see really quickly, Kramer's on the phone and he's like,
Oh, hey, detective. I'm gonna need help tracking down these names. People who need our services.
Now, could you make it so that Valentina the nurse almost gets raped, like right before I come out? Because that would really help my.
dude, that's another fucking only in Mexico. It absolutely is, and it's fucking terrible. Just
God.
have this girl blowing rails in a club. Why does the
Yeah.
threat of rape have to also be involved?
Well, well, I'll tell you exactly, because this is another one where they're like, well, he's not such a bad guy, because he kills the rapist. When the rapist tries to get at Valentina, he like I don't know if he shoots him in the head,
This is Shawnee Smith, dude.
and she like takes him out. He's like, I don't know if he's dead, but he's definitely fucked up. when
Yeah,
they,
I
like-
don't think it's a kill. I think he gets hit in the head with something because there's like a window in the car that gets busted out.
Yes.
So I think she just like fucks him up or something maybe. But yeah, so she is about to be assaulted in this car, and Pigmask comes in here and nabs her.
Her savior Pigman comes in.
It's
and,
too much.
And fucking takes her to fucking go into the like it's a warehouse, I guess. I don't even know.
It's the warehouse, I believe, where the procedure took place.
I believe so. Yes, I believe so.
It is.
Oh, because they take out the clean room. Yes.
We're gonna have to swing by the butcher shop, get some pig heads. There's no way I'm driving all the way down here with Pigmask. They're gonna be rotting in the car.
Now, Diego, before we start, where's the best place to get some robes around here? I need some nice.
I need a robe guy.
I need a couple of them in different sizes. I got some friends who are coming.
That's
over.
the thing is like the robes, the pig masks. This is sex cult stuff.
It is. So yeah, he gets Valentina. Shawnee Smith gets Valentina out of this car. She gets kidnapped. Is it Gabriel? No, Mateo.
We go to Mateo at this veterinary clinic.
Yes.
And I guess this Mateo, it's close to a Dr. Nick Riviera, but he's just a veterinarian who's also slinging drugs, which I believe, is that not a character in, is it Better Call Saul, where there's a crooked veterinarian character, I think?
Are you thinking of Beethoven?
No, I'm not thinking of Beethoven.
I've sadly not gone past the first season of Better Call Saul. I want to.
I
just haven't done it.
I think there's a similar. It's a crooked veterinarian, and the dude's kind of like trying to get out of the whole thing. I think it's Better Call Saul where that character exists.
I would like to believe that this is Jeremy Piven's character in Heat.
Very similar. Yeah.
But
exactly.
Have your veterinarian be the doctor guy, and you could still administer drugs and cut an incision and sew it up. Come on.
Well,
but no, you're right.
You're right. But like, also the more important thing, Eric, is that he's a piece of shit, because like he's helping out at the clinic, and like the two ladies, his two colleagues, even they're like shitheads.
Shit. What is that about? Why is he just fucking talking shit about those women?
Because you're supposed to think like he deserves every fucking thing he get. Like that is them like juicing it.
They do. They fucking conned a man with cancer.
Yeah, exactly. Like but they're like, they want to keep juicing you because you are going to watch these people scream for their lives for at least 2 minutes.
That's fair.
So you have to kind of really build up the fucking idea that yes, they absolutely deserve it. He hates his fucking colleagues. He fucking steals drugs from dogs. Hey,
what happened to my stash?
Poor Beethoven and Droopy are never going to get high again.
See, this is what he should have. Jigsaw should have captured those dogs and then been like, "You've been stealing from dogs, and now dogs will steal from you," and they get to bite him.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Poor hungry dogs unleashed on him.
Pour barbecue sauce all over him and let them have it.
Oh no, I need that medication to regulate my blood sugar.
Yeah, I guess there's not enough like rusted metal with dogs. I think every device needs rusted metal.
Yeah, that's the problem right there. I mean, you could just make a dog like machine that ripped a person apart, I guess.
Carlos, throw this metal in the lake. I'm gonna need it later. Go rust up this metal for me, Carlos.
Don't worry, it'll come in handy. So
Gabriella pops in and is like, "Oh, I need a fix." And this dude is like, "All right, here's some drugs I definitely just have in my pocket ready for you." But this is a weird one though, right? Because you're saying they're trying to juice it up like he's a scumbag, but then this dude's also like, "You got to go someplace else for your drugs from now on, because I'm done with this," or whatever. And she's like, "Okay." The dogs are all barking in the back of the clinic or whatever. And then this is a weird, we're not explaining what's going on here, but all the dogs start barking or stop barking, excuse me. And then it's like, okay, like that's how Mateo knows like something's up. But like, is Shawnee Smith killing those
No,
dogs?
she probably threw another pig mask at them, and then they had a nice dinner.
These wieners will give me the energy I need.
But they do,
exactly.
like, they yelp. Like, you hear a yelp. So you imagine they're scared to silence by this.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't really get it either. I was a little curious about that, but it does. I mean, Shawnee Smith gets him, tasers him. And then,
is this he gets tased in the face, right? She shoots the taser in his face.
Later she gets it in the face. This is a prod. This is
yes, you're right. Classic pig mask device, the prod,
Yes.
by the way.
Oh,
Yeah, I
beautiful.
love it. And then we go directly from there to Gabriella, who is going to this underground club that is highly populated, and she goes into the bathroom, and you, you can tell that she's an innocent because she's a little shameful about taking the drugs out and open. Like, she
Right,
doesn't-
which
Right.
is wild because it's just pills.
yes, it's just pills. Nobody would give a shit. Absolutely, but it's to suggest that maybe this character isn't
Yes.
all bad, which is what Shawnee Smith will be saying for the rest of this fucking movie.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, this character winds up getting a pretty raw deal when all
Oh.
is said and done.
Pretty bad. So she goes into the toilet and is taking her drugs. and
Into
then
the
she-
toilet or the stall?
Well, no, she doesn't train spot. That she fucking sits
She's
on the
swimming
toilet.
down there. That should be a fucking saw trap. Yeah, I put you down the toilet.
Will you drown or not? Today you find out.
Yeah.
So she takes her drugs. She sees a robe like coming up to the fucking stall. And she's like, "Oh shit! Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
Whatever
it's
this
like-
is, it's not good."
It's, you know what it kind of is, which sucks, is because you see the pair of like black boots. You're kind of ripping off Scream
Yes,
right there.
absolutely.
Sure.
It's
Black
Black
Ghostface.
boots and a toilet stall door. That's Scream.
Totally good. Yeah, I would totally agree with that. And of course, she comes out very slowly. Pig face punches her, and she gets knocked out. Again, gets the Harry Potter invisibility cloak and takes her ass out of there very easily. It seems
Very embarrassing detail though here, Chris, because she's in the toilet and she's scared and she's like, "Ooh, let's think of some self-defense." And she pulls out a bottle of mace, and then Shawnee Smith takes the bottle after attacking her and maces this woman with her own mace.
Yeah,
Really brutal stuff.
Yep.
much like Hannibal Lecter did to that prison guard.
That's that's right. And then so here we go. The big get, Cecilia herself in her big mansion location ? And she's like, you see this big wall of marks, and she's got all these additional scams. She's
Yeah,
on the phone
this-
conning a woman.
This is now I'm like, oh shit, maybe it's not a traveling ban. Maybe they just always do it in Mexico to rip people off. So then why would you leave your DVDs out?
That would make no
Because
sense.
if she's got a
Yep.
house here, or
Yep.
is she renting it? Question.
Uh,
question.
It
question.
looks
A
like
lot
a
of question
buy.
marks.
It looks like I don't know if you can fucking rent a place like that. Place is fucking nice.
It's a pretty, like, it's a house that's so cool and eerie looking at night. You could do a nice home invasion movie here.
Oh
yes,
yes.
yeah.
Which would have been cool actually if he set up shop in this woman's house. That would
yes,
actually
not enough home invasion movies lately. Get to work, everyone.
That Hush one sucked, so I'm not really.
Oh,
pushing
I
it
didn't
anymore.
see that. What was that, Chris?
That's the what's his name? Mike Flanagan's got one.
But that's got to be at least 10 years old.
Oh, is it?
20,
I have no such time.
2016. 2016.
Oh,
okay.
All right, yeah,
Close.
That was the last one I remember, and I did not like it.
Didn't we do like a new Strangers movie or something at one
We
point?
did,
that
but
does
that's
sound
The whole
familiar.
thing with the new Strangers movie is it's outside. Most of it is
Oh,
like
I
there-
wanted
there's
to,
like kills outside mostly.
So it's not a home invasion, it's like a backyard
I
invasion?
think like maybe it starts with a home
get
invasion.
out of my
and then
yard.
Get
There's
the
like-
fuck out of here.
there's like a pool kill in that movie.
Should I
Like,
look up home
Oh.
invasion movies? Maybe there's a home invasion porn parody.
There
Perhaps?
definitely is, Eric. So don't
I'm
you
sure
worry.
there's quite a few of those, I
Yes.
would wager. So yeah, she's like on the phone with this lady, and she's like, "Oh, no need to cry, Margaret. Oh, we're going to take such good care of you.
I'm
Yes."
not an angel. Stop saying I'm an angel.
Oh,
I'm not
dude.
an angel.
Well, this woman is like double fisting fat stacks of cash right here and putting them into a bag, and it's like it's labeled like, oh, this is for Mateo, this is Gabriella, yada yada yada. So you see her and like how the back end of this scam is working, and then basically it's like, she hears a noise or whatever, and she's starting to look at this big grid
Man.
of security cameras. Whatever. And I gotta say, I like this shot of, she's looking around the house, all these different camera angles, and then it's this big wide shot of the house. Basically, the establishing shot they use for the start of this scene is used as security footage, and you see her. It almost looks like a Wes Anderson movie in the way that he sometimes dollhouse compartmentalizes sets, like he does in Life Aquatic.
He
and other
should do a
things.
home invasion movie.
Oh, there you go. That's kind of what Royal Tenenbaums is. in a
That's
way.
actually, yeah, kind of, yeah.
You can make an argument.
But I like this. It's like because she can see herself in one room, so she's looking around, and then there's someone on the roof, which is pretty cool.
Yes,
There's
it's a
a
good shot.
Pig mask.
Pigman is on the fucking roof, and whoever this is, I assume it's Shawnee, throws something through the glass ceiling.
Which looked like a big tube television to me at first. Which
Yes.
it's 2001, so it's totally
Yeah, it's
possible.
definitely. Yeah.
I hope the Saw 11 will show the Ethan Hunt-esque fucking training you have to do to fucking rappel down from this fucking ceiling to fucking get this lady in time before she activates whatever fucking otherworldly fucking security system she has on this place.
Yeah, this is both of them at the same time because this is where she like runs to the car and
Yes.
and she's about to get out of the driveway, and one of the pig masks is standing in front of the car. It's Shawnee Smith, because then John Kramer comes out in the other pig mask and injects her. He's hiding in the back seat the whole time.
Yes.
And then it's like,
This is my associate, Amanda.
and the theater goes wild.
Oh man, she's back. Oh man, I have loved her since Who's Harry Crumb.
Oh, have
She's
you
the
seen
best.
have you seen Becker? It's delightful.
What is she, like a little daughter in Who's Harry Crumb?
She's like his sidekick in Who's Harry Crumb. She's like the younger because it's like a model gets kidnapped, and it's the model's younger sister is his sidekick when he's investigating it.
Right. It's been a long time for me and Harry.
Mother
Crumb.
of God. I know we're trying we're trying to avoid comedies sometimes, but Mother of God, that movie. Jeffrey Jones versus John Candy. The fucking match of the
that
century.
sounds delightful. I always confuse it with Delirious. You remember that
Delirious
one?
is
Delirious is the one with him and Eugene Levy?
He's a writer.
writer, yes.
Eugene Levy was Armed and Dangerous was a big one.
That's Armed and
That
Dangerous.
isn't. Stay tuned.
But what is the one I'm thinking of though? It's not Delirious. It's John Candy and Eugene Levy. They're limo drivers. And oh fuck, what is that movie?
Going Berserk.
Yes, Going Berserk.
Going Berserk, yes. of
Going
course.
Berserk. Yes.
That is some movie.
Quite
Shout
something.
Factory put that out on Blu-ray, and I 100% bought it.
Oh, boy.
I might have to join you.
Oh, dude, it took me back, man, because that Going Berserk was like a movie we danced around doing in the early days of WHM.
I remember it being a little dicey.
There's definitely some dicey material in it. Don't worry about it. Maybe we should look into some John Candy comedies. But you're right, Chris. Comedies can be kind of hard because it's like,
It's tricky.
what's the fun in us just pointing out stuff that's
Look,
not funny?
Right.
I love talking about stuff that makes me laugh. I love doing that as much, but it's not entertaining to the folks at home. At least
Right,
not
exactly.
as entertaining as I try to be.
Exactly. We do get a quick montage that shows Amanda kidnapping everyone, and she's got a good line here. She's like, "Get some rest, Cecilia. You're gonna fucking need it."
Uh-huh.
I don't necessarily buy her as a tough character, but I appreciate the effort in all of these movies where she's trying to like sound badass in her own way, and I think that's a totally.
I'm a well-wisher to Shawnee Smith at this point.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Oh
exactly.
yeah, she's been around forever. She's earned it, and like I'm glad she has. Like that's the thing is in a better world, I would like the idea. Like I like that Freddy Krueger is just Freddy Krueger throughout those movies. I like
Right.
that fucking Jason is just Jason throughout those movies. I would have liked if John Kramer would shut his fucking mouth about the morals. I would have liked to have seen him throughout these movies doing this. But they make him such like actually I'm kind of a good guy. If you would listen to me for 25 fucking minutes, you would understand that actually there's some real political meaning here.
I would argue that this is the only movie that actually tries to give us what is behind his, like what does he do? What is he doing this for?
You are absolutely right, and it does that in fucking objection to everything that's come before it in
That's
this
true.
series.
Because everything that came before it was bad. I think I'm now on board that this is maybe the best one, but I don't like the franchise.
I don't
Right.
like these movies. I don't like this idea. I really don't. But like, yeah, that's beside the point. We've said this many, many times. They are all in the big warehouse now. They
Yes,
are
and now it's basically we're not leaving this facility. Now it's
Yes.
like your tried and true formula.
Exactly.
Of a Saw
Now
movie.
we have spent our entire $13 million budget. We're staying
Right.
here, buddy.
Yes,
Yes.
here's the 250,000 left over.
And honestly, man, like this is why it keeps getting sequels. I mean, $13 million, box office is over 100 million. Like,
Yeah,
of course.
and your biggest star is Tobin Bell. Like,
Yes.
your costs are really low.
So I do love all these people shitting their ever-loving pants when they see John Kramer walk into the room. And again, this is shit that like you don't get when it's just a tape recorder threatening people. and they're like, oh fuck, here's the dude that we totally scammed, and we all know that we totally scammed him, and now the chicken has come home to roost, and we're totally fucked. We're all chained here, and they start screaming like, they all immediately turn on Cecilia, like it was all her. She made us do everything, and then this woman goes, like, oh John, we were only trying to help you, and he just turns and goes, that game is over.
Good for you, John. You tell him
Oh, excellent. Which is great because this movie does not end with a game over. So this is where you get your game over. And he turns to Valentina, who is like the nurse here, and he goes, hey, Valentina, what'd you do with those blood samples? You ever get those blood samples of mine to the lab? Or did you just suck out my blood and flush it down a drain somewhere?
And with that idea, let me introduce my game. And he fucking he's got, this is one of the most, he definitely wanted her dead. This, all the other ones, like there's a pretty easy out. She has to do like 3 things to get, she has to start the clock, first of all. And then from there, she has to, there's a razor wire around her neck.
He refers to it as a Gigli saw, by the way.
Yeah,
I've never heard of such a thing.
It's a real thing, apparently. So.
I've read a book, so I'm actually smarter than you.
You're right. They do. They're like,
Oh, it was invented by Leonardo Gigli. I'm not just
Yes.
reading Wikipedia right now.
Fucking piece of shit. So yeah, he has a very special word for what is razor wire, and it's gonna cut through her neck. If she doesn't cut through her thigh, take off her leg,
completely
and then
remove her leg, amputate it. Oh my God, it gets worse and worse.
You have to do that, and then from there, that's not enough. You have to. Oh, I'm sorry. You have to put a tourniquet on also while this is happening, and then you have to stick a fucking like a drainage pipe
Like a
in
vacuum
your fucking
cleaner.
leg.
Yeah.
In your fucking leg to get enough blood into this
Bone marrow.
Is it bone marrow?
It's bone marrow.
Ugh.
It's so, yeah, it's like fucked up Double Dare. It's like you got to suck out all this stuff so that the scale moves enough that it turns
Fucked
off
up
the
Double
device.
Dare. This is downright guts.
I would love.
Oh, well done.
So this was a missed fucking opportunity. If she got, I would have loved it if she does it, she solves it. But he's like, oh, excuse me, this is blood, not bone marrow. And then he just does it. He's just like, fuck. And like takes her head off. He's like,
I mean, it's weight based. You could probably do blood, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Well, it's a weird, like there's a sort of like a filter, like a filtered platform
Yes.
that the blood is falling through and it's catching all of this bone marrow on it. And I'm trying not to throw up
Oh
here.
God, it's disgusting.
I will say, I saw this in the theater, and being in the theater, I had to look away. And like, at least with my television, and I'd already seen it before, I was like, oh yeah, this is awful. But dude, I was in that theater like,
it's a rough one.
It was really,
It's rough.
but I think, Chris, you're totally right. And I had this thought watching it today. Like, the first one is virtually impossible. Like, yes, quote unquote, you could do it, sure, but like, you're not gonna do it.
She
And
almost
I
does it too, by the way. She comes real fucking close.
She comes close, sure, but like, he's able to calculate, for that, like, all the hesitation that's gonna happen. And I think he wants to guarantee the first one goes tits up, so it shows like he's not fucking around with the rest of these people. Like,
Right.
look, it's real. Like, I don't care that this girl got her head chopped
This
off.
is more to the point of like, don't play the game. Just get your head chopped off and die with some dignity here.
Yeah. Don't give him his pleasure. Like, or I mean, maybe he would get pleasure from what he would get pleasure from it. What
By
am I
the way,
talking about?
When the head gets cut off and the entire body slumps out of that chair, pretty cool shot.
Yeah.
Yep. It's not bad because it's like the camera is on Cecilia turning away to look away from it, and it's just like thump, like the whole thing just falls on the floor. Really, really tough stuff.
Oh yeah.
I really want to underline what you said, Andrew, because you are 100% right. He's a showman, and he knows that he can't get through the rest of what he has to get through if she doesn't do it. I would have fucking loved, man, if she's just like will not start the clock. Like, it's just like, no, well, I'll starve. I'd rather starve to death than whatever the fuck.
Seriously.
I think,
whatever this is. Are you fucking serious?
Yes, but I think he has accounted for that already, because that's what Mateo does, and they all have like shock collars on.
Yeah, but doesn't he, like, isn't her whole thing like, I'm not gonna do it, and then like Cecilia's just like, you have to do it. It's not even You don't
She-
even see what
she
forces her
does
to do it.
She does talk her into it in a way to talk her through it to survive it, but that does not happen.
No, it does not. And like, yeah, she of course she does not get it. She gets her head cut off, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's so sad. I bet he didn't want that to happen." And next, I mean, now we're talking for a little bit. It takes a while
Yeah.
before Mateo comes up
Ugh,
because it's
Right.
so much
'Cause this is like
talking.
we get talking with some truly disgusting stuff peppered in, but like this is also where like Kramer's telling Amanda, everyone's got free will, and Amanda's trying to like sympathize with the Gabriella character
Yes.
because Amanda is a drug addict who's in recovery thanks to the John Kramer trials, and he's like, hey, you had problems with drugs, I helped you out, she can help herself out too, blah blah blah. And so while they're having this convo, Cecilia is trying to like scam her way out of there, and she's like, you know how I'm gonna do it? I'm gonna cut this corpse open, grab Valentina's intestines out, and use it like a rope.
yes. And I'm almost
Ooh, goop rope.
this is almost where I'm with this movie, where I'm like, okay, now you're pushing it, and I actually like that. I like the idea that this would get so ridiculous, like you're pulling the guts out of someone. Like this is actually something I would see in Fulci, like something silly a little
Oh
bit.
yeah, I mean, well, it's also fascinating because like I think the Cecilia character, it's interesting to have another villain in this movie. Like, yes, John and Amanda are doing shitty stuff, of course, and they're like protagonist and villain in the movie, but like Cecilia is a bit of a formidable rival to John Kramer in that way.
Yes.
And like she's willing to fucking instantly cut this corpse open and grab the intestines. She very casually is holding it in her hand and just goes, we have a rope.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like this lady would resort to cannibalism immediately if she had to. Like she's not playing around.
Exactly.
But-
Which we're
yes.
definitely setting her up. I think, obviously the sequel we'll see her again, and maybe, it'll be like a little cat and mouse between who can do the best
Yeah.
murder traps.
It's gonna be her and Kessler for sure.
It's nice to see an actual like villain to Jigsaw versus just randos.
But then I kind of wish, like the only vulnerability, like the only thing where you understand that John Kramer is a person that can be like fooled is the beginning. After that, like he thinks of everything, and like even like the twist at the end, you're like, oh, but he even accounted for that. Oh
right.
my
Well, it's
God.
a real like fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, saw on you. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So
I suppose that is true.
she uses the intestines to pull. There's like a cart with all their belongings on it that
Yes.
Shawnee Smith places in the middle of the room for no reason other than to have this scene where Cecilia pulls the cart over using the intestines and grabs her cell phone. She makes a quick phone call. You don't see who she calls, and you don't understand it because she's speaking Norwegian over the phone.
Yeah,
And this is where Amanda uses the shock collar. This is where you see that they have those.
it's later revealed that she called Parker, I believe. Yes.
Yes,
that's right.
because he's very soon after that, like banging on the door, like,
This is right here. Yep.
you said that you were going to get my cancer away, and I still have the dick-sized cancer in my throat. God damn
You
it.
scammers, I still got the knob in me throat.
Fucking-
I've come to get me money back, you thieves.
And
it's now a knob and shaft in there.
And you think that Jigsaw, John Kramer is like, oh, that happened to me right this way, sir.
Oh, a
Yes.
friend. Finally, another friend.
I do love the way that they like allow him entry though. It's like the door opens, he walks in and he sees a pig mask person standing there, and he shoots the pig mask person and the head falls off because it's Valentina's
Yes.
corpse. There is so much corpse play
Well-
in this movie with this poor woman. Oh my
Well,
god.
Valentina like she almost gets raped and then has the most gruesome death. And then on top of that has her fucking severed head shot by this lunatic.
Oh, sorry, we were playing a little Weekend at Bernie's with her.
And don't forget the intestines. My
Oh,
god,
yeah, and
the
the
intestines.
intestines.
Oh yeah, they really fucking hate this woman.
You see a lot of this girl.
And
He's like, they're all con artists. My new good friend, Parker Sears.
and like he fills him in on everything, and he's basically right now trying to Amandify Parker Sears, like let him into the fold.
Yes.
Well,
He's saying,
it seems like
I'm offering you a chance to do something significant with your
That's
life,
true.
blah, blah, blah.
But I think he really was gunning for Gabriella to be the new Amanda. That doesn't come to pass.
That doesn't
Well,
happen.
I turned one drug addict, and that seemed pretty easy. So,
yeah, exactly.
You know what? I should have given her the head trap too. That was the problem. I got all fucking ambitious with the radiation gun. I should have just gone with my instincts and done the head trap again.
This is where the face tasing happens because Mateo unfortunately calls Amanda the C word, and she's like, "Oh yeah, tasers to the face."
Yeah, very fun.
Yeah, so this is the next thing up here is Billy the puppet making his appearance because John has been like, "All right, Gabriella's next," and Amanda is like, "If I'm doing things, you're making me do everything. I'm saying that the fake anesthesiologist is who's up next."
Yeah.
And so finally, you got this guy through customs, man. Billy the puppet and his tricycle make an appearance in this movie.
It's a gift for my nephew.
I work for a traveling Ren fair, actually, and we do some plays with Billy. Yes, Billith is what I call him.
Yeah, I know it's freaky looking. It's a religious figurine, so they're all weird looking and stuff.
I mean,
don't pay it no mind.
It can't just be all Punch and Judy. There has to be a third character out there, right?
Jeff. Jeff.
Jeff the puppet.
Punch Judy and Jeff.
No, I guess
Hello,
it would
Jeff.
be Billy though. Is Billy the puppet like they just call it that in the fandom verse, or
I
like
don't
James
know.
Wan said something?
I
never-
think that's a James Wan thing. I don't know for sure, but that sounds like
Because they never, it's not like he's ever saying,
Billy.
No.
It's
No.
Billy time.
no, it isn't.
Yes,
Uh,
it should totally.
I-
it should be Billy time at some point. Let me just put
It's
that out.
Billy time.
Yes, please. It feels like something like that's what the actual doll behind the scenes.
So
is
how,
called.
I mean, he's a
You're
great
right.
civil engineer. How does it pedal itself?
Oh, there's a little mechanism in
Oh,
there.
I bet there is.
something civil engineer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, so it brings out this cart with the tape for Mateo, and it's got some little other trinkets there.
Little medical devices and
Yes.
whatnot. I do love Mateo because he is saying what the audience is thinking, which is "What the fuck is that?" Which is a very funny line to me. And so yes, here's the tape, and this is, man, a lot of steps to these jigsaw traps in this
Yes.
movie. I have to say, this one is Mateo has to do brain surgery on himself. He has to cut open his own skull.
Which now it's not happening. Sorry,
No,
John. Put the fucking
Yep.
heat lamps in my face.
Yep, electrocute my neck until
Yeah.
I'm roasted like a fucking overdone hot dog, dude, because I'm not doing
Just
this.
close up this mask and kill me.
The game. I'm not playing your game. I know you want me to be better or whatever, but I'm dying today.
That's the thing. Is like this whole franchise overestimates the amount of people that would even do any of this.
Like, are you kidding me, man? Like, at the end of this, like, sure, a bunch of pain comes my way, but then I don't have to worry about bills ever again. All right.
Which is
Oh,
why
yeah.
the first trap that was the fake out is kind of the most, okay, I'll break all my fingers so my eyeballs don't get sucked out. But this trap, I'm not going to saw my skull open and take out a piece of the skull and take out a piece of the brain and then put enough in a jar.
Oh, so you're selfish. You could so easily heal from your wounds here.
Yes.
But you wouldn't do that. You would rather die. You're so selfish.
I'm the selfish one, yeah.
He is spouting a whole bunch of nonsense that sort of sounds
Amazing.
like he's trying to convince this guy he may turn into some sort of like brainiac superhero kind of thing, because he's like,
Mateo, plenty of people over the years have lost large swaths of their brain. I mean, even like a whole hemisphere just gone. And then the brain rewires itself, and sometimes better, stronger, faster.
I said the same thing to Bill Maher on his show last night.
That's a saw trap watching Bill Maher.
oh, fuck, dude. Yeah.
In this universe, if things had swung differently, John Kramer would have definitely appeared on Real Time with Bill Maher at least once. After the Architecture Digest Awards gave him his fucking his big award.
Well, actually, holy shit. Now I'm thinking, so like, remember in that not great Scream 3, how it's like Scream goes to Hollywood
Yes.
and whatever. Dude, Saw goes to Hollywood, and yeah, he won some civil engineer award or whatever the fuck. He's going on all these talk shows, but then the traps are like the writing staff and host of some shitty talk show that he's on.
Honestly, you're hitting all the fucking MAGA points. Mexico, first off, you want to go to Hollywood next? Let's do it. Honestly,
Yeah.
that makes sense to me.
So yes, he has to, pluck a bunch of fucking brains out like it's pieces of sashimi and dump it in this enzyme thing and something. This will close the circuit and not kill this guy. I don't understand how this one
Roast
works
me. Yo, roast me, King. Like, actually, literally roast me.
It's always like the problem. It's so heartbreaking because Valentina almost got it. This guy almost gets it, but it's like arbitrary that like it's within a few seconds. It's a few seconds too late.
Yeah.
Yep, so it just goes to show if you ever put in a fucking saw trap, dude, do not hesitate.
Well, no, you know what? You're not thinking this through because chemo takes 3 minutes. Every day. It only takes 3 minutes. It doesn't, that's what I don't get his I mean, that's why he's fucking crazy and like a bad person, but like we also have to think of him as a good person. Is that like, yeah, of course, like the 3-minute thing is bullshit and he just wants to kill these people. Like that's
it's just
the real thing.
It's just to kill people. What? Oh, I didn't do it. It was the monster machine that I built, but I didn't do it.
I only had 3 minutes to get over my cancer. So why haven't they gotten over their soul cancers or whatever the fuck he's talking
It would make
about?
more sense if he was doing chemo to himself, right?
Exactly. Like just anything to make this make sense.
You know how you go to the doctor's office and they put you down into that machine and they say chemo yourself in 3 minutes?
It's easy. Easy peasy.
I mean, it would be kind of great if, we've got the situation and the dude, like Mateo looks at the clock and he's like, all right, look, man, I appreciate my life. I do have the will to live and I will do this, but 3 minutes is unacceptable.
Yes.
I've never carved a hole in any skull, let alone my own skull. This is going to take some time. I got to psych myself up. How about, I don't know, 6 minutes? Give me 6 minutes. I'll figure it out.
Quote Val Kilmer from Alexander. Jigsaw, be reasonable.
Oh, wow. That is a weird pull.
I rewatched the director's cut. Really good movie.
I have always been
interesting.
mean to see that.
It is something else, man.
I only saw the theatrical in theaters.
Sucks. Much like Ridley Scott's Kingdom of Heaven, the theatrical is bad. The director's cut is great.
Oh, I am fingers crossed on Napoleon.
Me too. Oh man, that would be so great if we get a new cut.
Yes.
I would really love to
Supposedly
see that.
4 hours. I don't know where it is.
Yes.
Wow.
Please. Yes, please give me that.
So yeah, he does the skull thing, and I have to say, at least Jigsaw, John Kramer, courteous enough to do the head shaving already. There's a little bit of an outline, and for his first time carving into his skull, that's also his own skull. This dude is precise. I was pretty impressed.
All that
Pretty
vet
good.
school stuff, dude.
Yeah. It comes back.
Right.
Comes right back. Even though you're doing it through like a camera. But yeah, I mean, he just barely misses, and he gets roasted right up.
Whoo, toaster face.
And that's that. And like pretty quickly from that, we're going to Gabriella. Like it's almost immediate.
Yes. The chains start pulling her up and she's being exposed to the radiation. She's tasked with breaking like her hands and her legs to get out of it.
She's got to pull a Gerald's game basically while hanging from this apparatus while it's some sort of huge heat lamp, that is turned on her, and she's got to like bang her foot and hand out of these chains or whatever. Cecilia, this whole time through all of these people, has been like the cheerleader, like, you can do it, you have to do this thing, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't know, like, if these are all people who assisted me in my scam here, I would kind of be fine with them just being picked off one by one with this dude. I would not be cheering for them to
later
escape.
on, she was like, it was good actually because it's less people to split the money with.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
Now it's just me and Parker Sears get all the fucking all the money.
Parker Sears.
Yeah. Which Gabriella is trying very hard. Doesn't he like she fails, but aren't they like get an ambulance? She could still make it.
No, she does. She does make
okay.
it. This is the one, first of all, where she's like, fuck you, I'm not playing that tape, and throws it across the room. And then you see John Kramer like he's speaking into this PA microphone, and it's just him reading the script that he wrote. Because there's definitely multiple times of Tobin Bell looking down, and he can only be looking down at the desk because notes are there, and he's giving, like, you see him give an actual Jigsaw speech that you normally just
Which
hear
is like,
through the tape recorders or the puppet. Or
why
whatever.
doesn't he do that usually? He's like, no. I need to have evidence.
Well, I would love
Yeah.
that if he's like he's reading, he's like, much like Godzilla in the nation of Japan. He's like, oh, this is the old draft. I deleted all of this the first time. It's supposed to be about cancer now.
Look around yourself, graduates. You have just graduated from the civil engineering. Oh, wait, no, this was my commencement speech when I got an honorary degree.
BCU.
So Cecilia's like, start with your foot because then you'll be able to swing out of the way of the thing. She bashes her own foot. And then John Kramer just can move this heat lamp directly lined up with her again. Oops.
Yeah.
But she does when, she falls down or whatever. And John Kramer says to Amanda, drop her at the hospital. And then this is where, Parker Seals pulls a gun because he's just been lying about being a double.
Mm-hmm. He is indeed a double.
And he's like, I'd die for you, baby. And he's like making out with Cecilia.
I was bloody in on it, mate.
God damn it. And this is really
this is brutal.
The reveal to the actual end of this movie to me takes so much time to get. This is where I'm like, you could have cut this down to the nice 100 minutes and we would have been fine.
Yep, absolutely. Important to point out, though, now that Parker Sears and Cecilia have the upper hand, John Kramer and Amanda are both like, this woman needs medical attention, and Cecilia's like, not if I have anything to say about it, and she literally steps on this girl's throat until she breaks her neck.
Well, but
Awesome. Awesome.
That's just a bit like John Kramer being like, actually, she really needs some help. I baked her face for 5 minutes.
It's great. It reminds me of Star Trek 3 with Christopher Lloyd being like, because you wish it.
Yeah, that's right. Why won't you take her to the hospital? Because you wish it.
Exactly. You just got to kill her to get back. This is good to get back at Jigsaw because fuck your stupid game, bro.
Yeah, I do like that.
So Parker puts John in his own trap here. Now the shoe's on the other foot. And, they're like, oh, well, who else? It's a big, like, chain thing that requires 2 people. Who's going to be the other person? Oh, would you look at that? Look who's outside kicking a soccer ball against the factory wall. Little young Carlos here.
Yes.
So we go out, we fucking get this kid.
But he's innocent. He didn't do anything. And it's just like,
he never did drugs.
Yeah, exactly.
So he shouldn't be killed.
You're a murdering dipshit, John Kramer. Come on.
This fucking false morality that he keeps up being like, you'll understand it at some point. I swear to God.
So bad Cecilia delivery here. She's like telling him, oh, once I figured out who you were, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, you're Jig fucking Saw. And I was like, that sucks.
Yep.
That super fucking sucks. Also, like, this moment when you're like an hour and 47 minutes into this slightly under 2-hour movie, only then is someone in this world like, oh, I'm aware of the Jigsaw killer. It just seems like a little too late in the game.
Yeah.
For the movie to acknowledge that he's so renowned that this Norwegian con artist / doctor or whatever would know of his existence.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, thank you.
But all right. So everyone is disgusted that she wants to kill this little kid. And we sort of get him on this thing and he's like, okay, don't, no halar. That's what he keeps saying to this kid. Like, don't pull the thing. Like, let it all happen to me or whatever. And you're like, what could this thing possibly be? And it's basically they're waterboarding each other depending upon whose lever is pulled where. But this is it's worse than Jig fucking Saw is when Cecilia just goes, not waterboarding, huh? Bloodboarding. And I was like, that's the worst line of the movie.
No, thank you.
Where is this blood from? Is it from the pigs? I mean, some of it should have been John Kramer's. Like, I found that blood. We're gonna pour down the drain.
you're another great point. Where is this blood coming
Yes.
from? And if there's this much blood, you have to set it up. Oh no, this wasn't an old chemical factory. This is an old slaughterhouse or a
Right,
closed
yeah.
for the holiday slaughterhouse. In fact, that's how you get your fucking
Well.
pig masks and your blood supply.
Well, this is a little awkward since Carlos is here, of course. But I put his father in a barrel with a bunch of lime, and I just turned him into liquid blood, and that's what's pouring all over your face
But
right now.
I
Carlos.
appreciate the seesaw here, up and down.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's a
No, I
seesaw.
mean it's a pretty, as far as saw traps go, it's a pretty interesting one. It's the 2-person ones are always kind of like, like there's the one with the two guys, big guy and little guy,
Right.
and whichever that one is, and they like beat the shit out of each other. Or
And
whatever.
then there's also
This is-
Two Girls, One Cup. That was one.
Oh
of those.
sure, that was one of the greatest jigsaw traps of all time. Was 2 girls, 1 cup.
Yeah, he's sneaky, that John Kramer.
Hello, ladies.
Now-
Want to become infamous on the internet?
Now, classically, shit goes in the toilet.
You've been talking shit. Why don't you start eating it?
It is kind of funny that Amanda is only yelling at them to stop this whole thing when the blood is going onto Kramer's face.
Oh yeah,
When the little kid is getting it, this girl is dead silent.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
as soon as John Kramer's getting it, she's like, you gotta stop the madness.
because you know for a fact they didn't show it, of course, but like John Kramer's first few tests were definitely on like 17 and 18-year-olds, like who were like
Ooh.
skateboarding in no skateboarding zones,
Yes,
and he was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"That's enough. They have to be fucking gutted now."
Oh, hey there, Justin. Did you see that sign that says no loitering? I guess you didn't, because you and your friends were loitering outside the Circle K. You lived your life as a loiterer.
Oh, you kids have some frosty tall boys. I'm not going to kidnap the man that bought them for you, but I will kidnap you.
As if enough people hadn't figured out what's going on, you've got Parker Sears and Cecilia in this control room, and he's like, I can't believe they fell for it. Fucking idiots. And they start making out, and I'm like, yep. Most of the audience probably got this 10 minutes ago, but that's fine. And he's got this throw off line of like, oh, hey, Cecilia, like if this seesaw trap was yours, like who's supposed to be on the other side of that plank with you? And she's like, oh, whatever. It doesn't matter. Here's that bag of money. And she pulls it off the shelf, and red alarm, lights go out. The Saw theme starts playing. Look, when you start hearing that song, you know you're totally fucked.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there is a gas that is pouring into the room that just melts the flesh off your body. Essentially, it burns you pretty badly. And Kramer has gotten free and is like, look, I guess this is the tape still where he's like, look, there's one hole. There's a hole
Right.
in an air-free
Yes.
A
spot.
head hole, which I thought the twist at the end, I thought it was going to be a guillotine or something.
Yes, that's what I thought.
Oh, that would have been super fucking funny. Could you imagine that?
Well, but we're building out a new universe here, Eric. We gotta build out a new villain, so we can't kill her right yet.
Right.
And
Which
also-
I appreciate, I guess, in some level.
well, because if this was her death, like she just gets her head cut off, come on. She's the most evil there. Like, come on.
true.
I need her to be ripped apart. Like, I really do need that. If we're gonna do this, if
Well,
we're gonna play this
Sounds
game,
like we just sold a ticket for Saw 11 here.
I mean, everybody who is on this podcast currently is seeing Saw 11.
Yeah, well,
Let's
we're
not
obligated
shit her.
to.
Exactly. But yes, she sticks her head in it. There's a little bit of a fight, but of course, Parker Sears succumbs
Oi!
to being gas burned. to death.
Yes. There's a struggle.
Well, she stabs him in the
Yes,
gut.
in
You
the
want that
That's
too,
what
yes,
happens
of
there.
course, yes. And Kramer and Shawnee Smith and beautiful little Carlos, who are covered in shit and blood,
Oh man,
Walk out.
It is disgusting.
walk out into the beautiful sunshine.
Let's get you home, Carlos.
maybe a shower first.
Yeah, you know what? I'll settle for a fucking hose. Is there a hose anywhere in this
And
facility?
he's going to give him the money, presumably with this bag.
Oh, he does. Yeah, he gives
Yeah,
him the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'll give this to you and your father. Oh, sorry. I killed your father because he gave a 16-year-old a cigarette. So that's I had to cut his head off. I'm sorry, Carlos, but here's some money.
Your father was walking into the Circle K, and some teens asked him to buy them cigarettes, and he complied.
Yes,
So I melted his body into jelly.
your little dog named Pepito pooped on the sidewalk and he didn't pick it up. So, of course, I had to liquidate him.
Yeah, he didn't curb his dog, so I curb stomped him
Jesus Christ.
and also turned him into blood jelly.
Yes. and now he's all over us.
We're covered in your father.
They leave this fucking chemical factory and they leave that puppet behind. Pretty great calling card, I have to say. No questions asked as to who was responsible with this, because he's apparently world famous as the Jigsaw killer.
Well, yeah, and I do. I mean, I when I said hit the road, I was thinking more of like about Kramer. He goes to see his daughter get wedded to some crazy family he doesn't like, but I'm also into this trip to Greece kind of situation, because if we are doing this internationally now, like I would like to see what is it like to watch him in Italy? Like, is he gonna connect with the old P2 people and really figure out what to do?
If we get a sequel where he gets to wear like a little straw hat and eat spaghetti,
oh man,
I'm gonna be so thrilled.
Dude, some squid. He gets some charred squid for sure.
Amazing.
You guys just figured it out. You turn these movies into the White Lotus.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
100%.
every movie, he's just in a different exotic location,
But
dispatching people.
it's very important though. Each time he thinks he's getting a special procedure that's going to save him from cancer, and he keeps on fucking it out because he's an idiot.
Saw 11, still falling for it.
A dumb ass motherfucker. Because like, Eric, can I ask you, when you see these people in this warehouse with these contraptions on them, is this what you think that people who like get on you for mispronouncing Star Wars names are gonna do to you?
No. That's what I'm gonna do to them.
Okay, because I would be. It would be very funny to me. It's like, you didn't say a moron assholio correctly, and you actually mispronounced his father, a dumb guy fuck shitto.
Well, people get upset because they hear it one way in their head canon, or they played a video game, and it's just the thing is, people just have to say stuff. People have to be opinionated.
Yes, of course. They just have to. It leaves their mark. They have to leave their mark.
I can't wait for the Gleep Glossary episode on scumbag assholio or whatever you call
that might be next month. We'll see.
We'll see. Good idea.
Yeah, but that's it. They walk off into the sunset. It's a really awkward, like, the title card just comes up. It's very these
arty.
movies.
It's arty as shit, and I do not like it.
I thought I was watching After Yang for a second.
Absolutely. It's an 824 thing.
I would like it if that was the actual end of the movie, but it's not.
You're right.
Of course
no,
not.
We got a little bit of a stinger here. So it's like they walk off into the sunset. You got about 30 seconds of saw, and then it cuts back. We're in the famous fucking bathroom, and here's Kramer with Henry Kessler. He's all tied up. Costas Mandylor is there. He's located him, And dude, Mandylor's pretty funny right here. He's like,
out of all the men to cheat, you pick John Kramer? I call that epic bad luck.
You see, it's the movie takes place in the past, and we're still saying epic a lot.
Right. Yes. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
Sure.
And this dude's all tied up and he's got a little device on his gut and he's like,
where's your battle scar there, buddy? That's all gone, huh? Savini did a good cleanup job on that.
And you see him out of the horse's mouth itself. John Kramer says, I want to play a game.
There you go.
Yeah.
But here's my thing about that. I want to play a game. He turns this device on and this dude starts screaming. I was like, is this a game or is this just like we're killing this dude?
We're killing.
Kind of sounds like he's just being murdered.
I think we're gonna find out next in the next movie. I think this is probably what's gonna open the next movie.
Saw 11 still falling for it.
You're still getting scammed.
These Saw movies love that connective tissue. Like the door closes on the detective, but he's in the next movie, et cetera, et cetera.
I bet you what's gonna happen is you're gonna open the next one with the useless detective is going to find Michael Beach's body, and you're going to get the flashback to whatever happened with the fucking belly eater
Yep.
or whatever
Yes.
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're totally right. And I gotta say, also, Costas Mandylor, dude's looking great.
He
Like,
is.
still looked totally like detective, whatever the fuck. Like, so if
Yeah.
you're bringing this guy back into these movies after all this time, fine.
Detective
Whatever.
Hoffman.
Yeah.
Hoffman, Mark Hoffman.
Hoffman.
That's right. That's right. But that is gonna do it. That's the end of Saw X. I'm sure we are, of course, not done with the Saw franchise. But final thoughts on this motion picture, Eric Siska?
Yes, no, I do think this is the best Saw movie. It's a light recommend to not recommend. I don't really like the franchise that much. I find it a little too dirty for my tastes. Like a more clean kills. This rusted equipment just gets tiresome. Warehouses get tiresome, but now it's a warehouse in a different country. I appreciate the setup of getting there. I would love more shots outside. This movie delivered some shots outside, which we don't usually get in this franchise. So yeah, it's a light recommend, and I think it's the best of the series.
Chris, we'll let you go last. I'll just say, because Eric kind of summed up how I feel about it. It is kind of a light recommend for me, because it's the most of these movies that feels like a movie. And yeah, with part one, it is, if you forget that a bunch of other movies happen after it and totally are convoluted and filled with weird structures and flashbacks and pointless twists, if you just look at that first one as like a weird, isolated little indie horror movie, I think that's the way to sort of remember that first movie. But this just feels like more of a movie, despite all of its flaws. It's just like we're ditching single location stuff. We're ditching cops being 30 minutes behind the movie. John Kramer's actually out and about. And it's like, I've said this before on other things, but I think Tobin Bell is a good actor. And it's just refreshing to see a movie in this franchise that has made him a household name to some degree, and he actually gets to act in it, and he's not just laying in a hospital bed and doing these like pointless flashbacks. It's an actual like story of him, and yes, it's goofy as fuck, but they all are. Chris Cabin, final thought.
Well, before we get to my actual thoughts, I do. If you are, it sounds like you're a very big Tobin Bell fan. He did have another film in 2023 with the Randy Couture called Clown Motel.
What?
Oh,
Tell me of Clown Motel.
It is a horror film, and it's just Randy Couture and Tobin Bell, who is in like faded clown makeup on the cover. It's I haven't seen it yet. I just saw I was looking through Tobin Bell's filmography, and it was right towards the top. And holy God, am I not watching that movie? But and maybe Eric will, maybe Andrew will.
Yeah, maybe.
And maybe we'll see. For the movie,
Well, wait, just hang on a second.
It's got Toll Road in it. Come on.
yeah, that's
Randy Couture, Tobin Bell, also Richard Grieco in this movie.
Ooh.
And here's the log line. When Alma returns home to help her family get their Native American heritage recognized, all she finds is the world-famous Clown Motel that has been erected on their land.
Yes.
Oh, I'm going to watch this movie.
This is based on what there's an actual Clown Motel out west that's like weird or something.
Is that
there?
true?
Yeah, Nevada. It's like a freak show. Stop there on your way somewhere kind of thing.
Well,
Ooh.
I would suggest actually going to the place rather than watching whatever this film is. But
hey, trivia. The production crew for Clown Motel actually stayed at the real Clown Motel during the production.
well, there you go.
There you
There's
go.
the answer to
All
your
right.
question right there.
There we go.
Yeah, I don't like these movies. Like it is more well made than these usually are, but I do attribute that to them trying to find a new way to continue this on. And what I like about franchises is that, like, for the most part, the best ones, or the ones that have really stuck around, are killing machines. Like, they're not like trying to explain themselves. They're not like the one that's trying to explain himself the most is fucking Pinhead, and like he has some cosmic horror to deal with. There's some actual ambition to like talk about spirituality and things like that. That to me is more interesting than just this weird moral idea that John Kramer is. And I don't appreciate it. I find it like it slogs everything down. It means we have to talk more. It means we have to explain ourselves more. And it just isn't what I like from horror. Even the like quote unquote like smart or elevated horror. That's not what I like about it. And I find that this just kind of is like, well, we've got to do something new because the other stuff has kind of been spent and we kill our fucking character.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
we have to find a new way to do it. So we're gonna just try a little. It's gonna look a little better, we're gonna try to build a new story out of this, and like I don't know how it's gonna unravel because I'm sure we're gonna be explained quite a lot of how it unravels. But I don't know. I cannot stand these movies. These movies bug me. I think they're kind of full of shit in a way.
I agree with you. I mean, I don't really like them either, but I thought this was a more watchable one.
It is undeniably a more watch. This and Jigsaw are the most watchable ones. They look good. I just can't get behind this story, and I can't get behind John Kramer. It's just not in me.
So you're not voting John Kramer for president?
Hey, you know what? If he's a VP pick, who knows?
He just got like 60% in Iowa, so I think it's happening. John Kramer's happening, dude.
But that is going to do it for this episode on Saw X, which brings to a close our month of talking about some of the most confounding stuff from last year. But if you are listening to this on Patreon at the $8 level or up, that means you are listening to this commercial free. That's right, ad free. We Hate Movies on the Patreon, where you will also find more We Hate Movies like this month's We Love Movies selection, all about Oppenheimer, a movie that I'm sure now is destined for Hollywood's biggest night.
Yes.
Oppie update, by the way, I've now seen it 4 times.
Oh, nice. Yes,
so
it is.
Getting up there.
It's a great movie. It's our conversation's a lot of fun. It's almost 3 hours long. So
Yes.
Perfect companion piece for your rewatch before the Academy Awards. Also, should say this Thursday night, turn into our digital worldwide experience. That's going to be live. We're doing an episode live that you can listen to and watch live on The Flash.
Yes, indeed.
Ooh, that's right. So while we are done technically with confusing and disappointing movies from last year on the feed, we got one more for you, Talking the Flash. That's going to be a lot of fun. And of course, if you can't make it Thursday night live, replay is available for 7 days after that, moment.co/We Hate Movies for those
Do not forget to tune into the after party as well, where we get a little drunker, a little higher, and we answer some questions.
That's right. Those are always a lot of fun. So do not miss that stuff. Let's see what else we got. Eric, what were we doing on Animation Damnation this month?
Agent Elvis. Now this is a cartoon about Elvis, who's a spy of sorts.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes, a spy.
He had a monkey companion.
That's a fun episode. It's a big honking one, and we have a really good time with bullshitting about that premise. And on the Gleep Glossary, we're doing Lady Valarian. This is our Star Wars sideshow where we talk about expanded universe characters that time has sort of forgotten. And this one, we settle a bet.
Yes, we do.
The bet is settled, and it is fucking great. You do not want to miss that. And of course, Melrose 210 and the Nexus out this month. As always, our journey through all of that television recap business continues. Now, of course, Steve Sadak down to Mexico for some bogus medical treatment.
Too bad for him.
We don't yet know if he knew he was getting scammed, but we knew he was getting scammed and let him go anyway, because Steve's an adult and can make his own decisions, folks, all right? But
it's okay.
Chris Cabin, if Steve were here, I would say next week the show continues. We Hate Movies, back to our regularly programmed schedule. What motion picture will we be talking about next week?
We will finally be talking about Blast from the fucking Past, Brendan Fraser, Christopher Walken, Alicia Silverstone, a time travel. I guess it's a time capsule movie more than time
capsule
movie.
is a good way to sum it up. Yeah.
It's more like what that is. It is a horror show, and we cannot wait to talk about it and remember what it's about otherwise.
Yes.
Yeah, I watched this for the first time maybe 7 or 8 months ago, and I kind of don't super remember.
Don't remember.
Either.
No,
Do not remember.
It's been a while. Also, don't forget, folks, April 25th, we'll be in Atlanta, Georgia, doing a live podcast. We'll be doing a live podcast also in Houston, Texas, May 14th, and Austin, Texas, May 15th. Tickets and all information you can find at whmpodcast.com. Click on tour and come out and see us.
And get your calls in tomorrow. Listener Request Month. Get your calls in. It ends tomorrow, folks. If you're listening to this the day it's released, tomorrow is the last day to get your calls in for Listener Request Month 2024.
Oh yeah, that's of course, you know, the month of March. You tell us what to watch, both on the We Hate Movies feed here and on all the Patreon stuff. So all of that information you probably heard on a bumper at the beginning of this, unless you listen to it ad free, in which case we have posted all the information on a Patreon post on the Patreon platform, so you can get that stuff there. But that's going to do it for this week, gang. Until next week, when we're talking blasts from the past, I've been Andrew Jupin.
Eric Siska.
Chris Cabin.
Take it easy.